Good morning, Tradeify Nation, and welcome to another edition of Tradeify TV. It is Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. It is July 11th, 2025. It is 60 minutes before the New York opening bell, which means it's time for us to get you ready for your trading day. So as we talked about on yesterday's show, Nick is currently, I don't know what he's currently doing, but at some point, either in the last few hours or in the next few hours, he's going to be strapped to a biplane and flying in the middle of, I don't fucking know.
Crazy.
He's insane. He's absolutely insane, but we love him. We miss him. We hope he's safe, and we will see him back on Monday, hopefully. Otherwise, it could be a really somber stream. So with that in mind, guys, fresh off a fantastic trading day, both during the stream and after the stream yesterday, it is time for me to introduce my co-host for the day and every day, but it's just us today. Matcha Mommy herself, Miriam, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Tradeify Nation. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, such a very interesting price action we got yesterday and the overnight session here. And it's going to be an interesting day. It's going to be an interesting day, not only because of the news that came out and what happened in the overnight, but it is also Freaky Friday. So we are looking at some interesting price action. We're going to go over the charts today. But before we do that, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share it with a friend so we can continue to provide more value to you guys, because we have a lot in store for you guys today. And we got some good stuff cooking for you guys today in lieu of our 15K subscribers that we have on the stream. Thank you to all of you guys for being such great, amazing supporters of the stream. So we're going to have some cooking for you guys today. And we have our one and only Brett coming on, CEO of Tradeify TV, Tradeify in general, but he's going to be on today as well. So make sure you are all tuned in. Make sure that you like this channel and that you are subscribed. So let's get into kind of what we saw in this overnight here. And forgive my charts here; they're getting a little they need a little bit of cleaning up here. But we have some levels here. We have some interesting action that we went through in the overnight session here. So we had a nice move here on the NASDAQ. This is the 1 hour of the NASDAQ that you guys are seeing here on my charts. And fortunately enough, so I'm on the West Coast, if you guys don't know. So this move happened for me around I want to say 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night. And I got an alert that this move was happening. It was crossing my 23,000 level that I have here. And I actually had this trend line that I was looking at. I'll draw it for you guys so you can see. But this was a trend line that I was looking at, and I had an alert for price to move down below this level. Now, I typically don't trade the Asia session. It's very rare for me to trade the Asia session. But when we get a move like this, you know your girl is going to be all over it. So I definitely took advantage of this trade. I was looking to get an entry in on this 23,000. I was literally in the middle of cooking dinner. Okay. And then we got this move. I stopped everything and I just opened my charts, and I got a nice entry here at this 960 area right here. Right around 66. I think I averaged my position, but rode this move pretty much all the way down. I got out at this 848 area, and it was just a crazy move. Capitalized about 9,500 on that trade. Just a beautiful move to the downside, but we got some news. I mean, this was a news catalyst that really pushed this candle down, and Matt will get into that later a little bit. But in terms of the charts today, I mean, we're really just kind of sitting at these key levels. So right now you guys can see a lot of resistance zones that I have marked on the 1 hour here. Now these are all going to be different types of time zones that we're looking at in terms of resistance areas. So, this 15-minute resistance zone that we had from this is Wednesday, was still respected here. We still got that rejection yesterday of that 15-minute beautifully. Look at that tail we put in. And now that's still, I'm still keeping that on just for visual purposes, but you can see here we have a few other resistance areas. We have this 2 hour zone sitting here. You really can create this and make this like, 2 hour, 1 hour zone. You look at this candle right here, but I'm gonna extend this further. And then we have this other area right here with this 1 hour zone sitting between 22,970 22,971 and 22,940. Okay, this is also a key level of now resistance, previous support at this 22,940 area. Okay, so now we have a few things, right? We have a few things. We have this nice trend line that we, could possibly break to the upside here. We're trying to hold this 848 level that I had exited my position on yesterday. So really what I would be looking for, guys, I would be looking for us to, potentially continue further to the downside. I mean, this really is, it feels kind of like a line in the sand. You can see here on the 1 hour, look at how much we really tried to hold this 850 area, right? This 850 area, look at this right here. We got this push through on July 7th. We got another push. Every time we come back to this area, we get buying coming in and stepping in and, pushing us higher. So this is going to be a key area for us to look at today, 850, right? So if we break down below that, we have room down to the 776 zone. Okay, this is going to be the next key zone that we're looking at. And the reason I have this is because we got this previous point of resistance here on July 1st, broke through it, and then it became support on July 7th. So I would expect a reaction in this 776 zone. If we continue further than that, we have room down to 22,698 and then all the way down to the 600 zone. And, from there, I don't even, we have this 4-hour demand zone that's sitting here that I would expect for us to hold. That's sitting between 22,552 all the way down to 22,480. And guys, if we continue further than there, then we got bigger problems to look at here on from the bull side. But that's what I would be looking for the downside. Now for the upside, we have this nice trend line that we're still respecting to the upside. If we break this trend line, though, we do have quite a few areas of resistance, right? We have this 940 area, 1 hour zone all the way up to 970. If we push through there, then we have this 23,000 still going to be a key area, 23,000, 23,010, all the way up to 23,047, around 23,050. And then we have yesterday's highs and then this zone here that we need to clear. But it's going to be an interesting day, guys. It's going to be an interesting day, and I'm going to go over ES a little bit here. ES kind of looks like a little bit more structured. We still have these areas that we need to clear as well. That 315 zone that we broke through yesterday, that was a previous resistance zone from Wednesday. Nice little breakthrough, but then we did find that resistance at all-time highs at 63.33, 63.35 area. Okay, so we did create some resistance there. And now we have a 3-hour zone. You can argue this is also a 1 hour zone too, but this is also going to be a key area for the upside for us to get back to. Now, one area that we do need to look at is this 310, around 315 to 310. We need to clear this 1 hour zone starting from like 300. So 300 was also a key level for us that we were looking at yesterday. If you look at yesterday, I mean, we had, a very, very nice support here that we couldn't break through, and then we got this move back up, and now we're kind of like just hovering around it. But any movement to the downside, I would be looking for 62.78, 62.80. We have this demand zone, this 4-hour demand zone sitting at 62.69 all the way down to 62.61. If we continue further than that, now we would be sitting at this trend line. We would be breaking this trend line if we broke this 4-hour zone as well. So I would be expecting a reaction in this area for ES. Otherwise, we do have room down. See this wick right here? We have room down to this 62.45 zone. And then, of course, this 1 hour demand zone down here at the 6200s. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be an interesting day, guys. I'm really excited for today, especially, because we have a lot going on. We have nice giveaways coming on for you guys. And we just have, it's Freaky Friday. There's always some action going on Fridays. But Matt, why don't you walk us through, what did you see? I knew that there was tariff news that came out, but any sort of areas or key levels that you would be looking at? I mean, is there anything else that came out last night that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so the initial drop, of course, was on Trump releasing tariff letters to Canada and the EU, two of our bigger trading partners out there. So the markets, of course, responded. I don't remember the exact amounts, and let's be honest, the amounts don't really matter at this point. 15, 25, 35, 50, 18, we go to this, we go up here, we do this, we change our mind, we push the deadline, whatever, right? And again, what is the one thing we've consistently talked about throughout this entire tariff process? What do the markets not like? Uncertainty, right? I know, and I've already seen people in the chat basically making cases for or against the tariffs. The markets don't give a shit about what we think, guys. They really do not. Nor do they really give a shit about what the tariffs will actually be. Anything can be priced in and find an equilibrium in the market. Where we ran into some issues and over the past few months and you've seen people, again, I don't advocate for the traditional financial media that's on TV, but you read a lot of articles from people that talk to the people that manage tens, if not more, billions of dollars, right? And what do they say? So we can adjust for anything in terms of our investments, our hedging, do whatever. When it's uncertainty, we don't know what to do. We don't like that. And so we're going to be taking money out of the markets when there's uncertainty. And if there's been one constant through this whole tariff situation over the course of the past few months, it's been uncertainty. We have now had, I believe, 4 different deadlines. We've now had, I think just with China, we had 4 or 5 different tariff rates. And again, the markets don't really care what the tariff rates are. They'll find their equilibrium. They may come in a little bit. They may go up a little bit. But the markets just want to know. They want the information. Okay. And so this is the danger that I talk about, guys. If you're infusing your personal political opinions or your personal opinions of another country or Trump or how any of this stuff, you're going to get burned because you're going to go in with a bias that the markets just do not share. Right. I've loved over the years, everybody, that on the left or the right that wants to slam, whether it was Trump or Biden, about well, guess what? The market's made new all-time highs under both of them. So anyone who thinks, and just go back and look at just in my sort of political, Bush 1, Clinton, Bush 2, Obama, then Trump, then Biden, back to Trump. And the markets made new all-time highs, I believe, under all of them, right? Very different policies, very different politics, very different parts in the country. So again, I just want to remind you guys, because we are in this hyper-political atmosphere, right? But you can't bring those personal political beliefs into the markets because the markets don't share them. The markets are completely apolitical. Sure, the participants have their political beliefs and they'll react to policy, right? Not necessarily tweets or statements or anything like that, but they react to policy. Tariff letters are policy. Laws passed our policy. The markets seem to have already adjusted a lot to Trump in the second term, just like they did during Trump in the first term, just like they did when Biden came into office, in terms of what information they process and how they price things in. But again, we know how the markets think about things and how the participants in the market think about things just based on how they react. Last night, they were not happy with those tariff letters. Now, as the big market participants return with the New York Open here in about 45 minutes, we'll see what happens, right? I would tend to think that, and again, I made this case last Friday that we a lot of big participants don't want the over the weekend exposure, right, to their longs, because we talk about, obviously the futures market shuts down, but the options market, which a lot of big boys play in, the stock market, it doesn't trade over the weekend, right? So now you have more than 48 potential hours of exposure to whatever may happen, right? And we've seen with the tariffs, we've seen with Iran, Israel, that a lot can happen in 2 or 3 days. I've said on the show many times before, and I'll stick to this, we are no longer in a 24-hour news cycle. We're in a 2 to 4 hour news cycle. And somebody brought that up to me about 6 months ago and challenged me to do this. And this was 100% accurate. Go on any, we all get probably we get CNN, Fox News, we get MSNBC, we get a lot of various news channels. So just go on those channels once in the morning, watch 30 seconds of each one. What are they talking about? Go back 2 hours later, go back 4 hours. Unless there's a big deal going on, it's completely separate topics. So the markets, and this is the point I've made all week, guys, the markets are no longer in these multi-year cycles. We're in multi-day cycles if we're lucky. Sometimes we have multiple cycles of the market in the same session. So for me, I would tend to say the big boys are going to want to reduce exposure today. But again, it wouldn't. If you told me right now we rally all the way back up to where we were yesterday, that would not surprise me. You tell me we got another 1 or 2% down, that would not surprise me. Honestly, the only thing that would completely surprise me is if we end up not doing a whole lot today. Just because, again, this was big news, again, unscheduled news. We talk, things like FOMC, things like earnings, all these are scheduled news. Unscheduled news is the one thing that to this day can still really roil up the markets. And we certainly saw that last night. I just got home. We met some friends at this downtown event in this town we moved to. We hadn't gone to one of these before. They do all the downtown restaurants do a big, they put little tents outside their front door, and you can try their food for $5 or whatever, and you buy a cup, you fill it up with drinks all along the way. It was nice. It was a nice evening, even though it was a little warm. So I get home and I'm in the process of setting up a couple new monitor stands, a new microphone stand that I got, and I just look. I'm like, what the fuck just happened, right? So then you go into the news feed and all that. You can see gold here, though, guys. Yeah, we have this chart up here. Gold has had basically a 75-point rally in the last couple of days. If we go back here to the early mornings of Wednesday, the 9th session, and again, guys, this while gold may not be what it once was, which is a traditional flight to safety asset class, it still has a lot of characteristics of that. And again, this is just another indicator that the markets are just a little uncertain right now. Maybe they're not ready to go. We're not in 5, 10, 20% correction mode. Excuse me, nor do I think we're going to be there for a while, but this is clearly a little uncertainty, maybe a little hedging on the part of some of the big boys or some of the dealers, etc. And so we're now in full on breakout mode on. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit here. Yeah, full on breakout mode to areas we haven't been at for over a week. Right. And so, we talked about a breakout above this 3340 level, and we said, I think it was yesterday's show, if we broke out above 3340, we had room to run. And sure enough, that's what's happening. In fact, we broke out, we retested the area a little bit. This is a 15-minute chart, guys. So you can see if I can, here, I'll bring up a 5-minute. It becomes a little more apparent, right? Breakout, we retest this lower area of breakout here at about 3337, 3340. And then even after a couple more retests of 3340 and a hold, again, this is a powerful pattern, guys. Anytime support just continues to hold on any chart, it's extremely bullish action, right? Because what has basically happened is we attempted to break out in the early morning hours a couple of times. Every time we came back down to 33, we'll call it 3340, although it's a little above. And what happened? Every single time buyers stepped in. And gold is a really good thing to watch, even if you don't trade it, guys, because gold trades a lot overnight, right? Whereas some of the American indexes, the ES, the NQ, they'll trade constantly. There's always going to be some good liquidity there. But the bottom line is they're not as featured overnight. Gold and oil will trade constantly, right? They will be trading pretty consistently through the 23 plus hours that they trade, because it's especially gold. It's just such a liquid, and gold's not liquid, but you know what I'm saying. It's a very liquid in terms of trading asset. Oil is liquid, of course, both in the asset and in the I can talk, I promise.
It's okay. You took over Nick today.
Yeah. I'm anything that goes wrong today, we just blame Nick, since he's not here, and I hope he's watching. Somebody put in, Nick is ill. What does on a wing mean? He talked about it yesterday. He's literally strapping himself to a biplane today. And flying around. He's insane. I love the guy. I can't. I'm looking forward to having him back on Monday. But yeah, no.
A little crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, we're at the top of this range here on oil here at about 67.30. I'm actually looking for a breakout here. I think a breakout move above 67.50, and I think we get to 68 very, very quickly. So if you can catch that 50-cent move in oil if it comes out today, I highly encourage that. I wanted to look at the 1 hour here on the NQ. I know Miriam covered it a little bit, but we had this ascending channel, the ascending channel on the downside in this area of resistance on the upside. Now we've actually rallied a decent amount off the bottoms here. So to me, Miriam, I think that this is going to be an orb day. I think that first 15 minutes is going to be just really, really important, because it has been quite a bit this week. Even if we haven't broken out and broken down strongly, the price action has really been attracted to some of those orb highs and orb lows, or initial balance highs and lows. And I put in here, guys, this is the 22,900 level, this dotted white line. So there's basically, we've been in a mean reversion type of trading environment basically in the entire month of July so far, a third of it, right? So if we look at this 22,900 level, after this acted as resistance, look what happened. We pulled away. And within a couple of days, we found ourselves right back up to this 22.9 level, breakout up to 23,000, a little higher. And look, guys, we talk about support and resistance, right? There's also what we call pinning action or magnet action on a particular level in the chart. And right now, 22,900 is that level, right? I joked it was you guys have heard me refer to this as it's like your buddy that always goes back to a toxic ex. I had a really good friend in high school and college, kept finding his way back to the same girl who was no good for him over about a 5 or 6 year period before he finally kicked the habit, right? But this is the same thing. The markets just keep, even as much as you don't want them to, they keep finding their way back to certain levels. And for the NQ, that level is 22,900. And wouldn't you know it, Miriam, we're right at that area now. We're just a little bit above it. So that's the area I'm going to be watching. What I would love to see is a breakout at the open, and believe it or not, I actually would look for a potential short as we move towards 23,000 back down to this point. We can go ahead and flip that. We can go ahead and flip that.
Is Matt feeling bearish today?
A little bearish, I'll tell you what. We just a little bearish right now. We just get some of that bear skin run, put it right there on the floor. We'll be all right.
I love it.
But anyway, yeah, that's what I'm looking for today as we move towards the open. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at. But yeah, we are, guys, about 20 minutes away from Brett joining us. We'll see what's going on with him and see what he's full porting this morning. Little DGen Nick is out today as well. So it is a Nick free day today, Miriam.
I know. What are we gonna do without our resident marbles lover? I don't know. But
yeah, what are we gonna do without somebody at our background chat asking for marbles every like 30 minutes, right? Are we doing marbles? What are we doing?
Them on the plane as we speak.
He probably is. He has a hand full of marbles. He's going to throw them in the air and see which one hits the ground first.
Hopefully not on him.
Yes. Yeah, that is it.
Oh, man.
So I'm going to keep an eye on the news feed today. I've noticed there is a big attack. So again, we've got Trump and Trump world and the people around him, with both within and without the administration. There seemed to be a concerted message last night of pressure on Chairman Powell. Miriam, this entire show that we've been doing, which is, I believe this is like our 33rd show, I think I counted up. So we've been going month and a half when you figure in breaks and holidays and all that. I have said very consistently that there is a showdown coming between Trump and Powell. What does that look like? I don't know. Does he try to fire him? He said, well, he can't fire him. Okay, like that stopped him with other things, right? Or is he going to go ahead and appoint the next person to take over the Fed, which essentially gives us a shadow Fed leadership? Mm-hmm. What is going to happen there? And one thing you can say about Trump world and all the things, when there is always an effort of united messaging when there's something very important to them, right? Whether it comes on the immigration issue or it comes on tax policies, the bill that they just passed, whatever, right? And last night, after the close, began the pressure campaign on Jerome Powell. If you go and look at multiple financial news media sites, even major media sites, they're now starting to accuse him of fraud in terms of his office renovations and all that. This is a concerted pressure campaign. And again, I don't give a shit what you think of Trump. I don't give a shit what you think of Jerome Powell. But this is very consistent in what we've seen. And I think they're revving up to force or attempt to force an interest rate cut in July, and probably at nearly every meeting for the rest of the year. So we're going to see what's going to happen with this. But I just noticed this again. U.S. Office of Management and Budget Head thought the Fed has mismanaged the entire institution. So again, it's an attack on the institution. It's an attack on the leadership of said institution. So it's just sort of one more piece of straw for the camel's back, and we'll see what happens. But it's going to be very interesting to watch the pressure campaign that is already revving up for a meeting that's still 2.5 weeks away.
Yeah. I think any sort of like, to your point, Matt, the market doesn't like uncertainty, and this move, if we get to the point where Trump tries to fire Powell or whatever that may be, I mean, that's likely going to cause more backfire, right? It's going to trigger some instability in the markets. We're going to be looking at even running into like legal barriers, right? Like in the Fed's autonomy. So I think in that sort of aspect, I mean, we've seen multiple cases of the market reacting to this sense of uncertainty, and firing Powell or getting rid of him would definitely not cause any sort of a certainty in the market. So I know Trump wants to lower rates and all that, but I think pressuring the Fed through this political and public means is one thing, but firing a leader would, I feel like, both legally be legally an issue, but then also economically potentially dangerous. So I don't know. It's all, you know, I don't look at all of that typically when I'm trading, but you know, technicals are going to be playing a role for a reason. And you can see even when we got this massive move to the downside, I mean, we still, the market doesn't fall forever, right? We still find these levels of support, and that's where the technical analysis really comes in, because you know, as much as we've been getting these headline risks, as much as we've been getting this volatility in the market, the technicals are still going to be in play. So that's something that, you know, I always look at, and just it's why it's important to reiterate that, you know, your political stance or your political beliefs or whatever it is really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who you like as the president, who you don't like as a president. You just gotta see what you trade, or trade what you see when you're looking at the markets. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting day. We're still kind of rejecting this trend line though on the 1 hour. If I zoom into the 15 minute, still also rejecting it. VWAP is also, I think, going to be in play for today. You know, for me, again, like you guys know, I'm a permabull at heart. When I look at the markets, and I love me a good short, especially the one that we got last night. But in terms of, you know, any sort of bullish action, we really do need to get back up above minimum, I think, above this 940 area. But we still have this point of resistance, really nice clear area of resistance here. You can see at this 975, 973 zone. So let me actually show you guys what I'm looking at Bookmaps here. And actually, I got some fun little, I had Drew help me with my stream deck last night. So I'm going to actually move to Bookmaps so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. So on the NASDAQ, you guys can see we have some clear resistance at this 22,920 area right here. Right now, this 900 zone is also holding. You can see there's, when you see like a really thick line of, the darker the line, you know, in terms of color, when it's like the deeper red, orange, you're going to see some buying action happening here, which you can see these orders are trying to get filled at this zone. So 900, you know, when I'm looking at these levels, this is kind of what I'm looking at. I'm looking at also these volume bubbles right here. You know, the bigger the red volume bubble, the more selling price or action is coming in. You guys can't see my market pulse here, but I'm also looking at like how aggressive the selling is coming in. You know, when we see millions of shares that are being bought or sold, that's also what I look at. So, you know, you can see here the orders were starting to get filled, but we're still holding this 900 area. So if I kind of zoom out a little bit, you can see here the next magnet would be this 22,920 zone. And then if I zoom in a little bit more, you'll see that there's this other area, lo and behold, is this 950 zone, this sort of zone that I was kind of mentioning here. So these are kind of what I look at when I'm looking at Bookmaps, you know, in terms of finding these orders. But, you know, we can see here, if we start to break, there's this other level here at 862.50 that we could potentially bounce at. So this is kind of how I look at, you know, when I'm in a trade, how I manage it. If I see like strong orders starting to pick up here or pile up, that's indicative of me. You know, if I'm in a short, maybe I should start scaling out or potentially getting out of my trade, because it's likely that we might find a bounce at these areas. So that's kind of what I look at in terms of Bookmaps. Let's look at ES here. Okay, so ES has that level at 62.95. You can see the wall of sellers that are sitting there. And then, you know, if we zoom out a little bit more, lo and behold, look at that 6,300 zone. We got a lot of sellers sitting there as well. Now these orders can change. You know, it's again, I don't use Bookmaps primarily for my trading. It's simply just an area of confluence, and I don't recommend that traders use this as any means of strategy. By, you know, don't use this as a strategy, but it's definitely something that helps me kind of see the visual order flow of what's going on. You can see here right at 62.72, 62.75, we also have some buyers sitting there. So this is just how I see the order flow, seeing where you know, volume is going into, looking at the size of the bubbles, seeing where, you know, these orders are getting picked up. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you guys that, because I got this new tool and I thought it was really fun. So I'm gonna go back my trading view here. So let's see what we get here. We're still flirting with this trend line, but we still have VWAP to get over. So let's see if those orders at 920 get filled as well.
So just to answer it in chat, you know, people are asking where Nick is. Nick is about to be on a plane, or he's on a plane. I don't know. He's flying in. in a plane to fly on a plane and then get back in a plane to do that. I thought about that last night, actually, Miriam. There's an old George Carlin bit about airport announcements and all this stuff is even pre 9/11, so it's still hilarious. Yeah, there it is. There's a picture of what Nick's dumbass is going to be doing today. But where George Carlin says, he's just mocking the absurdity of certain, airline announcements, like pre-boarding, like you get on before you get on, right? Like, and he talks about the one. It says, everybody says get on the plane. He says, "F you, I'm getting in the plane. It's a lot less windy in here." So it's a
Awesome.
Nick. We love you, brother. Come back safe.
What's up, Nick?
And I can continue to make fun of you and make some really, really dark jokes about you flying around on a plane. But anyway, it's so that's where Nick is. Nick will be back with us Monday. Brett will be joining us a little bit after the Open, I believe. He's running a few minutes behind, so we will see him shortly after the New York Open. But we're sitting here about 25 minutes before. Market set to open about 0.5% down in the ES and the NQ. Of course, gold is up quite a bit, as is oil. I think oil's heading back to $70 a barrel. I may grab a swing on that at some point. But yeah, guys, it is Friday. We have had it's been a good trading week overall. I would say we are getting a lot of erratic movement. So obviously, Miriam, you've had a good week. How do you handle going into a Friday on a week like this where you've had a very good trading week?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I think it's one of those where it's easy to feel like you're, on top of the world. You had a great week and now you can, potentially size up and you start to feel overconfident. And it's funny because I actually start to feel the opposite, not in terms of my confidence, but I start to actually scale down and scale back quite a bit. It's not super common for me to have like 10K plus days, but for me, when I do have those days, I definitely, take it as like okay, this is a good start. This is a good cushion. Let me scale back a little bit, because the last thing I want to do is, again, feel overconfident, feel like I'm on top of the world. And then that sort of emotion overtakes my trading. So on a day like this, on a Friday, and regardless if I had a great week or not, I mean, on Fridays, typically, and I always say this to you guys, like, make sure that you are sized well and sized correctly, not to go into the weekend on a bad note, right? You don't want to go in, you're green on the week, you're feeling good, and then all of a sudden you give back all your profits, and now you have to sit through the whole weekend thinking about it. So, just because of that, that's alone going to give me the reason to, just size down appropriately, wait for those 8+ setups. And I think today's one of those days where, we could have some good setups, we could have some good movement. I mean, we did have a nice movement in the overnight, so there is still that possibility that we just kind of chop in this range. But again, on a Friday, I'm not going to force anything, guys. If I do take a trade, it's going to be, a very, very small light position for me, and it's not going to be it's going to be something that if I do take a loss, I'm not going to even blink an eye at it, going into the weekend. And that's where you should always be when you're setting up on Fridays, looking back at your week, analyzing your week, and just being okay with, all right, if I need a trade today, or if I want to take a trade today, let it be something manageable that is not going to ruin my weekend, right? So that's how I'm going into it. I think I want to wait and see how this first 15 minutes open. We've been getting these interesting moves happening in the first 15 minutes, like either to the upside. Like, I think it was was it Monday? No, it was Monday or Wednesday. I believe that we got this like massive move to the upside in the morning session, right at the open. And it was one of those where you want to chase it, right? You want to chase. I think it went up like 120 points from the go. But then we completely reversed it. We completely reversed that move. So again, you want to stay patient on days like this, especially a Friday, and just be aware of your position sizing. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to wait for this first 15 minutes to develop, let the market settle a little bit, and then kind of analyze the trades from here. But I do prefer if we get, something like that kind of stays in this range. Like, if we're staying between, on the NASDAQ, we're staying between this 22,850 and really like this 22,940 area. If we stay between that range, I will prefer that, just because if we start to get a breakout to the upside, I'd likely be looking for longs above the 72 zone, and then, to take profit up to 23,000. If we get the breakdown, I would be looking for this low to break, this 830. I'd likely probably get in around that, and then hopefully write it down to the 78 zone, 778 zone. So that's what I hope. But of course, the market can do whatever it wants. It could dump at the open and just completely take out everything. So we'll see what we get. But I'll be watching Bookmaps and showing you guys what I see on there as well.
Yeah, and I think I think you bring up some really good points with a lot of the uncertainty. It's going to be it could be a very unpredictable day, and we have seen these big moves at the open, right? And we've seen times where that's really the only sustained move, at least of the morning session, right? So it's going to be a very wait and see. I have always approached Fridays trying to wind down into the weekend, right? Like I try to be almost completely done with everything work related shortly after the stream is done, and then really not look at anything until maybe Sunday night or even early Monday morning. But I go back to my days as a full-time options trader. And after about a year of solid journaling and taking, I would say 5 to 7 trades per week, right? That Fridays were horrible for me in terms of opening new trades. Now, obviously you have, theta decay over the weekend and a lot of things that factor into that. But as an options trader, and when I was not, I was only really kind of in tune with the markets for, usually an hour and a half in the morning, hour and a half in the afternoon. You don't watch every tick of swing trades or option trades or anything like that. That'll drive you nuts. Really, even day trades, right? But Fridays for me, there was nothing worse than ruining a Friday. Like, in fact, I specifically remember this. It was about 2 years after I started trading options. I had a really, really nice week. I had my realized P&L for the week was about $2,300, and I opened 2 new trades on Friday morning. And then some news came out, and it was 2 calls in 2 different stocks. One was Microsoft. I'm trying to remember what the other one was. And we just dumped. We dumped like 1.5%. And so in the options, that might as well be going to zero in a lot of situations, right? So, and I didn't close the trades. And actually, they came a little bit back on Monday, but not. They still closed them for loss. But I'm sitting there then with realized about 2,300 and unrealized losses of about 1,200, right? So that really kind of puts a damper on the weekend. So I've always really tried to protect we talk about protecting your capital, but I think it's about protecting your mindset heading into the weekend, right? Simply because, and you make a shitty trade at the end of the day on a Thursday. Well, guess what? You can rally back on Friday. You shouldn't revenge trade, but you can get that money back, right? In any markets, options, futures, stocks, whatever, when things button up on a Friday, they don't open until Sunday night or Monday morning. So you're sitting there. It's like one of those where you maybe you do a bunch of labor outside and you don't have the energy to walk upstairs to shop, but you just sit down like on the front porch, and you're just like sitting in your own funk, right? Like that's what it feels like to go into the weekend having really fucked things up on a Friday, which every trader does early in their career, and sometimes we continue to do it later in our career. But I think it's very important to protect your capital. And guys, if right now you're at a spot in your weekly P&L where you're happy, I'm not saying don't trade today, but I'm saying maybe cut position size down to 1/3. So maybe if you do, let's say 15 micros, maybe go down to 3 to 5. Yeah, make an extra 100, 200 going into the weekend. If you're up $2,000 and you lose $200, that's fine. You took your shot. You tried to increase that P&L. You're still going up 1,800. I just use those numbers as an example. But guys, don't ruin your weekend with your last trade on a Friday, because that is one of the biggest things for me, and I know for a lot of traders as well, that can lead to a snowballing effect of a bad trading mindset, because you're pissed off all weekend, and then you sit down Monday morning just furious, like the market just fucking owes you something, right? And that's when you make those stupid mistakes, and you compound mistakes, and you revenge trade. I will tell you this, guys, and I was pretty open earlier this week talking about how I don't necessarily completely suppress my emotions when I'm trading. I just don't let them affect my decision making, right? And it's the same thing with revenge trading. Making a mistake in trading, fine, it happens. I still make a lot of mistakes. Every trader out there still makes mistakes, no matter how much money they make. What we don't do is compound those mistakes with more mistakes. We recognize that a mistake has happened. and we whether we just get out, don't trade for the rest of this another hour of the day. We don't compound those mistakes with revenge trading or chasing or things like that. So that's one of the bigger differences between somebody who's been trading for 6 months versus 6 years.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And we go back to that too, talking about like, it's not just the weekend where you want to decompress and unwind and spend time with friends and family. And I always tell you guys at the end of the stream, like, make sure you are doing something that you're practicing gratitude in a sense, whether it is like with yourself or, practicing mindfulness, whatever the case may be. But and part of that requires you, like it forces you to also just spend time away from the charts. If there's not a trade for you to take, don't take it. Don't force a trade, because again, to your point, Matt, like, and I used to share the same thing as an options trader. Like, you really don't know as an options trader, especially if you're swinging, like whether that's going to be in the money or out of the money. The thing about options too is like, you can be in the money, you could be, technically, like in the money with price, but is still losing money, right? And that's what's crazy about with options. You have this awesome leverage, but if price isn't getting to the point where you need it to be in a certain time frame, you're not making money on that trade, right? And so with futures, it really doesn't matter, right? That's the beauty of futures is, time is not against you. But going back to, the feeling of the weekend, on Mondays, we talk about this too. And I think Coach Tank talked about this as Mondays typically are like difficult days for a lot of traders. Statistically, Mondays are losing days for traders. And the reason for that is probably a combination of like, you're going into the weekend, especially if you lost money on that Friday, or if you ended that week on a red note, you're so eager to trade coming back on Monday. And so you start to kind of like lose sight of most of your rules. You're eager, you're just excited, and then you get into stupid trades and you just completely forget about your rules and everything. So that's another reason why you just have to be careful on Fridays, and then going into Mondays. Even if you had a good day, even if they had a good week, remember that Mondays are, if you are that kind of trader where you tend to get excited, let's get the market open so we can trade, just be mindful of that, because that can also mess you up. But yeah, I hope, I don't know if this Bookmaps is helpful for you guys. I can start trying to show it a little bit more, but yeah, right now, I mean, I know some people are asking, like, how do you read this? Again, I don't like recommend as a new trader getting into this. This can be a lot of like just noise if you don't know what you're looking for. But again, if it's helpful, I'll keep it on. If not, I can go back to the charts here. But yeah, I like to kind of look at where the orders are starting to stack up. Still that 920 area, we can see clear resistance there. It does help me. I guess another point is it does help me with like, finding these support and resistance. Like if I have them on my charts notated, Bookmaps helps me see if there are orders sitting there as well. And so that's kind of where I use it. But this 920 area is actually where VWAP is sitting on the 15-minute. If I go here back to my trading view, you guys can see right here where VWAP is sitting, clear resistance right here at VWAP. And obviously those orders were sitting there as well. So right now we are flirting with this 900 area, Matt. I don't know, this area that we keep talking about is definitely still in play. So what is there anything that you would be looking for in particular? Like I know we both use VWAP, but I know you use the standard deviations at quite a few, but is there anything that you would look for like a potential move and then a rejection of?
Sure.
Like, yeah. Are your standard deviations?
No, I'm just joking. Yeah, right now for me, so looking at just a 5-minute chart here, basically since 2 a.m, we've been trapped between +1 VWAP and -1 standard deviation with just a couple of small moves off that, right? So for me, I'm looking for a breakout above VWAP or a breakdown. Our 5-minute ATR right now is 14. That's not bad for pre-market. I like to see that above 20, usually 10, 15 minutes into the market, because that just tells me there's some range, there's some room for things to move and for some of those opportunities. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. We've already had one rejection of VWAP. But yeah, I'm with you. I think trading in these first 5 to 15 minutes is going to be pretty chaotic because, again, futures trade basically almost 24 hours a day, but the big boys aren't the big boardrooms in New York and Chicago there's nobody there at 8 o'clock for the most part, right? The big boys stake out their positions. Or keep in mind, guys, futures were not created to be a income generating day trading thing. It's great that they've evolved into that. They've made quite a few of us quite a lot of money, but that's never what they were originally to do. And in their form of, whether you're hedging something or, agricultural futures are created to help farmers lock in profits and make sure that they can keep their farms, going before, corporations bought out pretty much every family farm in the country. But they're really insurance and hedging vehicles. That's what they were originally created for. So that's most part, a lot of big boys use them for, right? So think about it. If you're, I don't know, one of the funds at BlackRock or some of these big time, I'm talking $1 trillion funds, and let's say you're bullish in the market, you're buying Tesla, you're buying Microsoft, you're buying Apple, AMD, whatever the case may be, right? Maybe you protect yourself by hedging in the options market. Maybe you're getting long some puts in the SPY, or maybe you're buying some VIX. But sometimes you're in the futures market because you're protecting, short term, and that can be a little more financially viable. Every decision they make goes through 14 different people before it gets out there to make sure it's the right move, or at least the right move based on the projections. So it's still a matter of the biggest volume in the futures market for the most part, not all the time, every day in every instrument, but the biggest volume for the most part is during the New York session, because that's when the New York and the Chicago funds, the really big funds, are active in executing what they need to execute, which can sometimes take multiple days depending on the size of the order. So for me, I'm very curious where the big boys are going to stake out. Actually, I'm going to be watching a lot of stocks too. We've done a little bit more of that on this show, and we're going to continue to do that, especially looking at the Mag 7 and some of the big tech stocks that drive the market. But this is something I think this is the time, guys. If you're not accustomed to looking at anything just besides an NQ chart or an ES chart, highly recommend looking at that. Guys, if you have TradingView, $9 a month gets you real-time stock data, right? I think it comes out to like $9.30 with taxes or something like that. Well worth it, because again, and we saw this yesterday as the markets kind of started to come in a little bit. They were really kind of mirroring some both what was it, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, some of those Mag 7 stocks, and sometimes they can give you a little hint of a move before the move happens in the futures market. So highly recommend that if you're somebody who uses TradingView, or if you have, if you have a 401k, or if you have an IRA or something with a big company, you can get access to usually their platform, even if you don't want to trade it. And guys, I'm not saying you need to look at it tick by tick, minute by minute, 5 minute by 5 minutes, but if you're an active day trader in futures, especially if you're in the ES or the NQ, which a lot of us are, you should be at least 2 or 3 times a day looking at those stock charts on a daily and on a 1 hour, just to kind of see where the next levels of support or resistance are, which can help influence your bias in the big ones as well. So yeah, absolutely. That's all I got to say about that.
All right. Well, thank you for that. So we have about less than 10 minutes left here in the opening session, New York session to open here. Again, still in this range, which I like. I like that we're sitting in this range. You can see here, again, this 920 zone is still an area of resistance. We are getting some bigger sell orders come in here. This 890 is going to be the next level of support. Looks like we're starting to fill some of those orders here as well. But yeah, I mean, guys, this is going to be key here. We see these orders kind of stacking up between 887 all the way down to 877, and then below that, this 860 zone is really going to be key here. You can see this really thick red line here, and this is an ever-changing system, right? Like this isn't by any means like 100% accurate. Some of these can be phantom orders where, these orders will get pulled all of a sudden. You'll get some like crazy movement happening. So that's why I always say, like, use this discretionary, but it's not something that like you want to just like use as purely your tool to go to. I just like to see it based off where the current orders are sitting. So this is where I'd be looking for this 862 zone to potentially clear. And, that is actually a level that we would need to break as well. So a couple of trend lines sitting here also on the 5 minute or 15 minute per se. We have these this trend line right here on the 15-minute, and then we have another trend line that we would need to break. I know this looks like a geometry class here, but we are now below this 900 zone, and well below VWAP and the 9 EMAs. This is another day where I feel like ES and NASDAQ are more in sync with each other, which is great. We love to see that. Yesterday was definitely not the case. ES and NASDAQ were completely out of sync with each other, which, again, on days like that, it can be very difficult to trade, especially when you're looking for a short bias or a long bias. You might not get the move on either one. You have to play the correct indice in that case. And yesterday was, ES was the clear long. You guys can see this nice move we got yesterday to the upside on ES. NASDAQ, was a little struggling a little bit, right? We had this massive move to the downside, and then eventually we got a retrace. But ES was for sure the clear winner of the bulls yesterday. So we'll see what we get in terms of the day. We haven't even opened yet, but we are getting this move to the downside so far, still holding this range, which I like to see. But for me, I'm not a bull until we can get up above VWAP on both NASDAQ and ES, and that level is going to be above this 920 zone. Ideally for me, I'm not even going to look to take a long unless we get back up above 972, 975. So we'll see what we get. But I want to know too, I know we're going to throw up a poll here. Drew, I don't know if you can get that ready in the background here. How are we feeling today, guys? Are we feeling bullish? Are we feeling bearish? What's your overall sentiment or levels that you would be looking to take a trade if you are, just feeling good about the day? Are you looking to take longs or are you looking to take shorts? Let's get that poll up.
I also want to answer Houston Williams' question in the chat. It says, what stocks do you recommend we look at for that correlation if we trade MYM, I'm assuming micro Dow, the YM itself? Well, a simple Google search, if we want to pull up my screen here real quick, just by weighted stocks within the Dow Jones. I don't know if you can read this if you're watching on a smaller screen, so I'll just tell you every stock here that's at or about 4% of the weight. Almost 10% is Goldman Sachs, GS. Microsoft, Caterpillar, Home Depot, Visa, Sherwin-Williams, American Express, United Health Group, Amgen, McDonald's, IBM, JP Morgan. So 12 stocks that are each at or above or near 4% weight. So right there, those 10, those 12, you're looking at well over 50% of the index itself. So some platforms, I know Thinkorswim used to do this, and I agree with the chat. Thinkorswim has gone to shit in the last few years. I used to use it religiously. It was the only platform I used for several years. And then, yeah, I mean, a lot of companies stop innovating when they become big enough, right? But you can do actually a composite. You can put like 5 stocks in on one chart, and it'll just add up the values of all of them and just show you how they move around. I know a lot of people do that with the Mag 7 now. Which, by the way, for the Mag 7, I think we can put that up here. NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, Google, Meta, and Tesla. So those are the 7 magnificent, as they say, magnificent 7 of the most dominant and influential technology companies in the U.S. stock market. So these are the 7 that are just hugely, hugely weighted across the board in the NQ, the ES. Obviously, we saw with IBM, which isn't in this list, but still a tech company in the Dow as well. So wow, it's guys, this is all stuff. I appreciate the question, but this is all stuff, guys, you should know if you're trading, right? You should understand what makes some of these companies move, and it just goes to the experience, Miriam, that we've talked about it again and again. We hope and want you to be making money as soon as possible in this game. And in the prop space, especially with a prop firm like Tradeify that is just a rock solid reputation in terms of payouts, you can be making money fairly early in your career. But to get to the point where, and I don't even like to use the term mastery, because I'm almost 12 years into this game. I don't feel like I've mastered shit, but to get to the point where you're comfortable, where you start to feel comfortable, is, for me, it was at least 2 years, Miriam. I don't know if you're kind of in the same boat. Now, for me, that was about the same time I started to see some consistent profitability. But I've talked to traders that are doing pretty well after about a year and a half, and they'll tell you, yeah, I'm making money. I'm still not feeling extremely comfortable. So it's really kind of that 2-year mark that I think, if you can stick with it to that time, is where the light bulbs start going on, blink, blink, blink over the head.
Yeah, no, it definitely took me a minute. I mean, every trader is going to be different. I mean, we had an amazing guest this week, Amos, who came on. I mean, he's been trading for only 3 years, but his demeanor, the way that he just, the maturity that he has, was so refreshing. And I know I'm kind of like, you know, um, you know. Just like complimenting the shit out of him, but I think that he deserves his flowers in terms of the ability for him to stay focused. And traders like that have been in the game for only 3 years, I even told him, like, you're in your infancy stage, right? Like, technically 3 years, you're still a baby in the trading world. But for a lot of traders, that certainly is the case. You're still learning a lot in those 3 years. You might be unlearning habits, right? Bad habits that you developed as a trader as well. And I say this all the time, like, trading will teach you a lot about yourself, even in outside of trading, that you didn't know. And that was definitely the case for me. So I would say it for sure was like the 3 year mark that I pivoted and realized, like, all right, I'm sick of my own shit. Like, I need to stop doing the things that I said I wasn't gonna do, and start implementing better habits for myself, not just in trading but outside of trading. And I think those sort of habits will definitely trickle into your trading as well. If you're the type of person who is disciplined in other ways, like, you go to the gym, you eat healthy, you're not a crap person in general, like, that'll flow into your trading. So definitely it all starts with self at the end of the day, and understanding, like, all right, is this something I want to take seriously? And if it is, you can make it happen for yourself. You just got to buckle down and really, like, stay focused. And Amos it was just great having him on for him to talk about his experience in his 3 years. But
And he'll be joining us next week as well.
Yes, we have a great lineup as well next week too. So we're excited for that. But for now, we actually have our one and only Brett Simba coming on here on Tradeify. So we're gonna have him come on here in a bit. I don't know if he's ready in the back, but be ready for that.
We'll let Drew load him up in the back. And I just want to say that I actually think Amos and other traders of his age group, I think they're actually at an advantage because of their age, right? Because I didn't get into trading until I was basically in my 30s. And by then I'd had it drilled into my head how cautious you have to be, and how, listen, I've said we're not going to tell you this influencer or this person or this YouTube trader is legit or not. We don't care. But the fact that there are so many people out there pumping big profits shows you that it's possible, right? And it gets it in your head, whether they're legit or not. Again, that's a discussion for another venue. But when you see this many people having success, all of a sudden that didn't exist when I first started. So that was a situation where it's like, oh, look at this. All these guys can do this. It puts it in your head that it's possible, and it is, right? You just need the discipline and the setups here. So, all right, guys, we are getting the boss man loaded up here in the background.
Wait, you forgot to say, our market is open.
Oh, is it? Well, ding, motherfuckers, let's go.
Ooh, nice push here that we're getting to the upside so far. Let's see if this 950 area clears.
I see we've got some orders at 950, and then a little bit all the way up there at 300. So let's see what happens here.
Pushing right into this supply zone here on the NASDAQ. See, getting some selling coming in here. So far holding.
All right, little bounce off the +1 standard dev band there.
All right, those orders are getting filled and rejected here at that 950 area. You can see that these volume bars or volume bubbles are coming in. Let's see if we get some buying coming in here.
Could just be a little short profit taking at the open.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But you can see this 23,000 area is also a key area to consider. Let me just pull this down a little bit.
If it just wants to pogo between 22.9 and 23,000 all day, that's a nice range. If it wants to do that, I think we'll do pretty well today.
I'm not too mad at that either. Yeah, you can see this 23,000 level has a clear level of sellers sitting there. You see this thick wall that we have. Let me go back to TradingView here. You can see that this zone is kind of being tested here. So this is what I would be looking for. I'd be looking for a break of 972. And that would actually clear the trend line as well. So I would probably look for like the 976, 980 area to clear.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So it is time to be joined by one of our favorite guests, and he's a great guest because, well, he runs the damn company. So let's bring in the CEO of Tradeify, Mr. Brett Simba himself, the boss man. Boss, how you doing today?
Hey, how we
What's
doing?
up?
We're
How we
doing
doing,
good.
guys? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute for sure.
Yeah. What's up with that, man? Like you act like you're running some big multinational company or something. You don't have time to come on the stream. What the hell?
Hey, I mean, listen, the mom and pop shop turned into the extended family of the whole country over here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going good. It's going good. But you guys have been crushing it. Tuning in. You guys have had some great guests. I think we're gonna have some great recurring guests coming on soon. We got another big surprise.
Ooh.
I don't want to say guest, but I want to say host either. I don't know. Anyway, we got a big celebrity coming on in a week or so, and hopefully we'll be here every week as well. So it's gonna be really cool to see all the different types of traders that a lot of people know. You know, come on, you guys have talked with a lot of people already, and you know, it's just awesome seeing everybody's different style and vibe, or even if they have the same style, right? They still take some trades a little bit differently, or they have a different approach. So,
Yep.
how have you guys been?
We've been great, man. Streams have been going well. I'll tell you this, we've had some meetings this week, and obviously we can't talk about the content of those, but boy, it's an exciting time to be in the Tradeify family here.
100%. A lot of cool things coming up. We hope to have another release this next, this is what's today, the 11th? Yeah, hopefully 20th. Should have a big release. Fingers crossed, everybody.
All right.
We'll see. But yeah, everything's been good.
So can you confirm that after her performance yesterday that like Miriam's paying for dinner next time we all go out?
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot to say, like, Miriam, what the fuck? Crushed it last night. No, I was watching it. I was watching the market last night, and I'm just pulling up the chat, so I'm looking all around real quick. All right, there we go. See the chat now if anybody's talking in the chat. Anyway, yeah, so I was looking at the market last night, and I got the tweets. I forget what was the tweet? The tariffs on what, Matt?
It was tariff letters to Canada and the EU.
Canada and EU, yes. Okay, so like I was like, I saw the market drop because it was up like 0.1 flat basically 0.1%. It dropped to like 0.1, 0.15, right after that tweet, and I'm like, oh, all right, maybe he's just saying some shit. And then I guess another tweet came through like verifying it or something, and it just cratered. And I'm sitting there, I was doing some work, and I was like, all right, let me see if I can find the low here. So whatever, I ended up actually I can share my screen. Get where is it? I'll show you real quick, but anyway, I'll show you in a second. But I tried to snipe the low. I made like, I don't know, 700, 800 bucks. I'm like, oh great, I did good. And then all of a sudden I go in the Slack chat and I just see Miriam with a 9. Or I didn't even go in the chat. I was looking at all of our live traders, and I saw a giant P&L, and I went to go in the chat, and you already posted it in the chat. And I was like, oh shit, that's so crazy. So Miriam just 10x'd me in, just a couple minutes. But what a crazy short. What were you doing? You just happened to be watching? You're usually not trading.
I know. I never trade the Asia session. Right? Yeah, I never trade the Asia. I mean, I'm still, it's evening for me during the Asia session opens at like 4 p.m. my time.
Yeah, so it's still like your late afternoon.
Yeah, I'm chilling. Yeah, I mean, this is typically 4 p.m. is the time that like the Eastern market, like the New York session closes on the Eastern side. But yeah, I'm chilling. I'm hanging out, and I get like all these tweets like you, and I'm like, all right, I get an alert, my 23,000 level broke, and I'm sitting there watching it. And it's funny because I actually entered this trade. I meant to enter the minis, and I entered micros. And so you could probably see on your end, Brett, that I entered micros, and I actually got such a sick entry on that. Yeah. I closed that trade and then re-entered with minis. And so
I posted your P&L and your performance, and I looked at it, and I was like, I don't think anybody commented on it, but like it said like 30 contracts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hope nobody thinks she just went like balls to the wall on this
No.
one because there were some micros in there. So yeah,
Yeah.
nobody said anything, so I didn't have to defend you. But if anybody wanted to talk some shit,
Yeah.
don't worry, she
Oh,
wasn't.
I was ready. I was ready to. Yeah, so definitely one hell of a trade. Honestly, it was one of those where it was just beautiful. I just kept moving my stop. I kept moving it
Yeah.
into profits, and I didn't have to. I just managed it from that. But yeah, 90 plus points on that on that move. So very clean entry, but it was fun. It was definitely fun. But now we're getting this move to the downside, Brett. I don't know. Would you be looking at anything here?
You can pull, I don't know, Drew, if my chart's good now. You can pull it up. I'm looking for, yeah, there we go. I don't know if you can crop it. I got like my tab and everything in here. So if you want. Anyway, I had the, this is that low that I bought somewhere in this candle, by the way, and I just closed it right here. So I caught the shittier end of that trade, but hey, I'm happy. I'm happy I made some money last night over here. Anyway, looking for probably same type of style I always do. I'll just take these lows right up to the highs. I'll look for a bounce somewhere in this 880, 890 level. But I don't know. Do we have any data? I didn't look at anything today. I woke up a little bit late today, so I didn't do like full routine. I'll take a look in a sec. But anything at like 9:45 or 10?
No, we don't have anything today.
It's a really light news week this week. We start getting into the thick of earnings next week. We'll start the build up and whatever the big showdown is going to be leading into the Fed meeting. I think that's going to be fun to watch, no matter where people fall in their opinion on the Trump versus Jay Powell showdown. Could lead to some really nice movements in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're still getting.
I can't full screen this. Sorry, one sec. I was just telling Drew, like, I'm on an ultra wide, so if I full screen, it looks crazy. That works. Anyway, no problem. Go ahead. Sorry, Miriam.
No, I was just saying we're getting some selling coming in here, but we still have that 862 area. I don't know if that is in confluence with where your zones are. We have 862 holding as potential support, and then 850. But I probably would be, if we get down to 850 and we start like getting real volume coming in, I'll probably be looking for a short. So that's going to be what I look at. But right now we are trying to hold, we're trying to hold this trend line here. So let's see. I don't know.
Yeah, we got the golden pocket right here, pretty much. We got this trend line that you just mentioned. So, this is an ideal. I probably should. This is like an easy trigger pull for me. I don't know why I didn't just pull it. I just
You're
even
distracted.
said I should
okay.
probably watch the 80s or so. But congrats if anybody took that. But it's tough, right? When you get that. The thing with the golden pocket trades is you can do like, there's two different ways you can do it, right? You can set your order and then set your stop, or you can set your order and then kind of visualize and watch it. But the golden pocket is something that you want to see price come into and give you some type of confirmation that you should take the trade, right? So, I'm on the 5 minute right now. On the 1 minute, this hammer right off the 786, and then right now, if you switch back to the 5, like closing at these 890s, that's pretty good on the 1 minute. But again, it's an aggressive day. It's Friday. We are, how many points now? Are we off of all-time high? 100 something? I don't know. It went up to 23.1. So we are about 200 points off, but that's nothing in this market, right? So, I look at the daily and I think it's a great spot. I'd like to close in here, like for the week, or maybe there'll be a big move at the end of the day. Who knows? But if we close here within this range on the daily chart for the week, I think we'll have a good Monday, Tuesday, because we should be able to just play like these levels, right? This 23,060 and this like 23,850 or so, right? So it's setting up for either a night. It kind of looks like a bull flag kind of, but this candle closes down here won't be too good. But I think there will be some nice trades next week for sure. There were a lot of good trades this week, and to be honest, it was, if you look at the daily, it was chop.
Yeah, it really was.
It didn't feel like it, right? I guess because, there was a lot of headlines. We were trading at all-time highs. So I think there was some pretty good action this week in general. But that's typically what you're going to get at these all-time highs, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. I mean, I didn't expect this move in the overnight session to happen, the Asia session, but I think a lot of the levels have been respected. I mean, we made the double top on the NASDAQ at that 23,100 area. Same thing with ES, this 63.35 zone. And now we've just really been in this range. I mean, yeah, you pull up the daily and you're like, we didn't do anything. But when you look at it from an intraday standpoint, like there were a lot of decent setups to be taken. And so, yeah, you gotta, if you're that kind of trader, you gotta zoom in a little bit. So, but yeah, we are holding these areas. Like I said, guys, I'm waiting for the 63 zone to break. 50 would be ideal, but I probably wouldn't look to enter the trade until we get some momentum, continued momentum. But look at this level that we talked about, this 950 area that we showed on Bookmaps. That was really the key area that we rejected, which was clean. That was super clean that we got that. Obviously, you'd have to be a contrarian to really short that area, but nice rejection of the 950s. And then now we're way below that. We're hovering above or below 900. So I like that we're still in this zone. Like I said in the pre-market session, I want to stay in this zone for potential break to either direction. Right now looking bearish, but you guys have seen this many times before that we get a move in one direction and then we can completely reverse it. So not looking to enter anything just yet, but would love to stay in this zone so far. So what would be an indication for you to go short, Brett?
I think you said you were looking at the like 860 break, right, as well. Yeah, so like I'd probably look for something like that. I'd also like honestly, the short at that 950 level was great. That was a pretty good level, because that comes into play pretty much right with those overnight highs. I don't know why my tab is lagging right now. Like literally the only tab I'm sharing is lagging, but my computer's fine. Of course. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, that 950 level that you had marked out was great, but yeah, I'd look for maybe a breakdown in 860. I don't like to play like momentum plays to the short side.
Really?
I mean, I don't know. Just not me. Unless there's like a consolidation, right? Like if this was like I see you take sometimes like a flush below a key level. Like for instance, on the 5 minute right now, it's just a red bar. And then if this candle turns fully red and doesn't have a wick, you might look on the next candle to have that short rate at that 860, right?
Yeah.
For me, I can't like play that. Like I'd want to see some like consolidation a bit to play into a level. And I don't know, that's just kind of how I am, I guess. But I another good short that I'd like is oh man, I can't even change the screen. Hold on a second. Yeah. Stop sharing and share it again. Works.
Still getting these rejections.
So weird. What the hell?
Starting to fill those orders at 65
there we go.
here.
All right. Now I'm good. You can switch. I'll show you what I'm looking at. Yeah. So like this 950, right? This 950 level, that's where you shorted before, and that's lines up with this little range that there was here at what? Pretty much the midnight to 3 a.m. right for the London Open, right? So that was a good one. And then the next thing I'd look for is actually a short golden pocket, which probably lines up with right near the open. Yeah, it does. So
yeah,
these pre-market kind of highs here at 8 a.m., right? We get up here, touch these bodies of these candles, 920, 930. I'd look for a strong rejection there too, or even right here at the point of control, so like 900. But I don't know. I think we will maybe hold these levels here. So I'm not inclined. I mean, we did just hold that 860 that you said. So that's definitely a strong level, right?
Yeah.
So if you break it down, you probably will see a lot of downside. So I agree with your idea to short that 860. But I do think I'd like to see it hold, and then possibly I'll take a long after this 5 minute candle for a move up. Basically, whenever you guys trade, or anyone for the most part, right? If you're looking for a key level to break for a trade, if it does the opposite and it holds, it's almost a confirmation to take the opposite trade that you were going to do, right? But it depends on the R to R, like how much room to the upside do you have compared to what you were looking for the downside.
Right.
But in this case, trading NQ during the day, as long as it's 100-point range, you're always going to get a good move, right? So
definitely,
we'll see what happens. Yeah,
So,
that level's holding though so far.
Brett, I got a serious question for you. What's the backup plan if Nick goes flying off a wing later today?
Oh man,
Why, guys?
He said, you know what he told us? He told me that he was gonna try to see if I don't know if this is a surprise, and I wasn't supposed to say it. He's gonna see if he can get service up there and come
Come on.
He did mention that to us yesterday. I think he did mention that on stream if he could pull that off. So
that'll be like Tom Cruise coming in on that plane scene on Mission Impossible. Like we'll be having a front row seat to that. That would be the craziest.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. He's on it as we speak, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe he's taking the plane to the plane. I don't know what he's doing right now, but yeah, quite the adventure. I thought I was an adrenaline junkie. Like every sport I would get into or anything I would get into was like high risk. This guy is another level. My poor mom had like issues with me always, but like yeah, it's props to you, Nick, for living on the edge, literally.
I think he needs to get up there. Hopefully he's got a parachute, jump off, parachute down to a desk that's already set up with a monitor and a Starlink connection in the middle of fucking nowhere, and then just nail a trade.
You better have a Starlink on the back of that plane, you know.
Yeah. Oh man.
Getting this move up. I'm like getting upset now that I'm not pulling these triggers.
I know, we're getting a nice hold of that 60 area. For sure. Approaching VWAP here on the 5-minute as well on NASDAQ. ES looking a little bit weaker today. ES looking a little bit weaker. We didn't even quite get to that supply zone sitting on ES at 300. I mean, we kind of like barely ticked 98. And now we're getting a move to the upside. But this is exactly what we were talking about, right, guys? Like, you don't want to be so eager to, you see this move to the downside and you're like, oh, short, it's time to short. But then, you don't get that full confirmation. And now look, we're taking out this whole move. Completely.
That would have been a beautiful move. I mean, 60 points from those lows.
Yeah.
See, this is hitting that level here. Like, again, this isn't like I might take this trade only because, to be honest, this golden pocket is a short, relatively speaking, it's a 15-point range from the lower end to the higher end. So if we get a rejection here without blowing off the top here, I might take a short because it'll be like a 10-point, 15-point stop.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's always going to be anything that's 10 or 15 points as a stop on the NQ. I think is always super tight because we know how it runs, just like that 60 points or so, right?
Yeah, you have the risk of getting stopped out, but if you can get a solid entry like that, I mean, you're killing it.
There's certain trades, right? There's certain trades where you can take a little bit more. You don't have to have that A+ type setup, right? Only because maybe it's a smaller risk, and then you can always wait for those A+ type trades and maybe put on a little bit more risk if if that's your bread and butter, right?
Absolutely.
How do you approach Fridays, Brett? If you've had a good week, you're green for the week. What do you look at as far as are you just looking for high level setups, or are you it's just another day?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for. I'm gonna take one actually here. I might size in too. I'm gonna just go short one while I'm here. See what happens. I want to watch this. Probably put a stop at like 9:45. 50. So yeah,
I'm kind of looking to take this potentially long, but yeah, we're getting some buying.
Yeah. If it breaks out here, I'm sure we'll break up to that upside level here. So this is a tight one for me. I mean, I'm in at 932. So 13 points or so. We'll see what we can get. If we get
we do have some sellers sitting at that 950 still. So if this can reject here, that's ideal. So I'd be looking. I mean, I wouldn't look to really like at this point. I have to wait. I want to wait, but
yeah, I mean, ideally, I'll probably, if we do break this and then it consolidates here a bit, and then we get a little bit of a retest and a wick. I mean, not this long. This is like a half hour, but whatever, something like this here. I'll probably play that to the upside for a flag break to the upside. But anyway, going back to your question, Fridays. Typically Fridays haven't been good to me after a good week in the past, just because kind of get a little bit of a big head, I guess. But maybe put on some extra risk. They can be good, they can be bad. But lately, every day's been pretty good. It's actually, I trade better lately when I'm busy because I get patience to wait for a lot of these levels, right? If you're just sitting at the charts all day, you know, like waiting for the trade type thing, right? You're not going to be, you know, you might get a little bit more edgy, or you might want to put on a little bit more of a risk right away, just because you're itching, right? You're like itching, you're like that meme, you know, waiting for a trade, right? But if you are not waiting for a trade, you don't want to wait for a trade. You just want to get it done. You've been at your computer the whole time, right? But if you're actually working and doing other things, you just set the alert, you wait for that alert to hit, and then you take a look at the chart, right? You don't have to have it up the whole time.
Yeah.
So I think that's the cool thing about trading is like you can, I always think it's like as good as I think everybody probably recommends this. It's very good supplemental income, right? While you can do something else. Obviously it's great if it could overtake that and be like a full-time income for you. But I think at least every trader I know has something else that they do during the day still. Yeah. Right. Because if you're just 100% locked in here, like even you guys just talking about it and interacting with the chat, different stuff like that, right? I know it's around the market and you're technically watching the charts the whole time, but you're still at least doing something else rather than sitting there alone, just staring at the charts, which causes, you know, the human emotion, human brain to want to get into a trade, right? Maybe get into something sooner. So I think Fridays also have double that effect, because you know that I just got stopped out there for like 5,300. I gotta check. But those Fridays, you know that it's the weekend, so you're itching more to take a trade, right? You might want to take a trade because you know, hey, I'm gonna have 2 days off. So
yeah, no, it's true. I mean, it's definitely like trading is one of those where like if you're not guaranteed to make money, right? Like, and every day is going to be different. It's not conventional, like a normal 9-to-5 job. So having something else on the side where you're not like, you know, feeling like you're forced to trade just to make money. I kind of like this short now, though. I kind of like this short, not gonna lie.
Yeah, right. Let it run my stop, and then that's
I do like this potential rejection that we're getting here, but I do want an entry closer to that 950. That's actually would have been a better entry for me, because then my stop would have been the highs at 958. Anyways, but yeah, I think it's definitely hey, we got the bear going on there.
I was like, what the hell is that? I was like, I wasn't looking up. I was going to do something. I was like, did Matt sneeze or something?
That would have been a big manly sneeze right there. That's some like
I'm giving you props
right there.
Holy shit.
Oh, man.
That was crazy. Yeah, we're starting to dip here, but again, I don't know if this is going to be, they might have just ran my stop, right? I think we went up to 49, so I had to stop at 45 or 45.50. So probably the stop could have been a little bit higher. Probably could have been the high a day, right? That's always something to look at.
Yeah, this is where it gets kind of difficult, because like if you're looking to take the reversal when you get such, you know, what looks like such strong bullish action, you know, it can be difficult. Like I call these hero trades because you're risking basically nothing for a potential move back down to the lows, which, you know, again, I call it a hero trade because you know, you're kind of going against the direction. But I would have liked to get an entry better at like this 947, 950 area right now. I'm not like super excited to take this entry. I want a little bit more of a break below VWAP, but I do like where this 5-minute closed. I do like where, you know, we got this top wick, a lower high. That's 2 areas of confluence there, but we are also below, we're above this VWAP level. So we could try to bounce here. The 1-minute 9 EMA is also holding. So when we are getting some volume coming into the upside here. So that's kind of where
I take this trade too. You were watching this long before I know too for a possible break. So like, I mean, I would have liked it to consolidate above 45 and then retest 45. But even this is it's just tough, right? It's like there's multiple options for good trades that look potentially good here, just because there are levels to run like 30-40 points in each way, right? Now, what do you think? Looking at this now, does this make you want to go long now still, or like?
See, if I would have gone long, I would have gone long at that 28 retest.
Yeah, right here, right? Yeah.
And right now, I'm not really particularly interested in shorting this, because until we get back down,
we've twice rejected the +1 standard deviation off of VWAP too, right up there about that 55 to 58 level. So that could be another area where either potential breakout territory or a rejection.
The biggest issue I think with this so far is like it's only been at the levels that we've been watching for like 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Right? It's almost like if you had 5, you're more inclined to take the trade, right? But because it was so fast, because we're here and talking about it,
Yeah.
that delays you making that decision to actually take it. But not only that, but not having, at least 5 minutes.
Oof.
I mean,
There we go.
we did have, wow, that was nice.
See, that's
right there.
Yeah, when we get a retest, like if I go to the 1 minute here, you guys can really see that very well. Because I look at the 1 minute sometimes when I'm looking to enter a trade, still getting some rejection here. Okay, so this is not what I want to see. When I see a rejection of the zone, sometimes I would typically actually look for a short here. But anyways, when I see this nice bullish move, a retest of this is the 9 EMA, and then a nice bullish move up, I'm not so inclined to take that original short that I was looking at. Right here, when we did get this rejection, I was like, ooh, maybe, but we did still hold this 9 EMA, this level right here. So that's a little bit indicative of, we want to continue higher. But this candle right here, I'm not really sure, because again, remember that level I told you guys about, that 970, 975 zone. That's going to be the level that I would look for bulls to get above. So if we can't find acceptance above this area, then I would be potentially looking for a reversal back down. Not necessarily saying we're going to come back all the way down to these lows, but potentially we could. Right now we're getting some rejection here. So again, this is kind of a tough spot to initiate a trade, because we obviously could continue the upside, or come back and retest this 940 area and then continue back up. So
it's one of those days you're like flip-flopping your decisions, right?
Yeah.
And then it almost sounds like we're just speaking gibberish at this point.
No,
right? Like, all right, we're watching the long. All right, now we're watching the short. But unfortunately, that's what's being presented right now, right?
Yeah.
Because just in this opening range too, we're sitting at that. Someone just called it out in the chat. Yeah, it's that London high. It's that same level that we rejected. Right at the open, we rejected the lower end of it right here, right? We just went over this a little bit before. Now we just rejected almost the upper end of it. So,
right.
I'd like to see them break this London high, and then it should be a straight shot to 23K.
I agree.
That I think we can all agree on that. That's probably a magnet there if we do break this London high. So I'll probably take that trade again. I'll probably put a little bit of a wider stop on that one, but I want to see if we hit this 9. I'm going to put a buy stop at 973.50.
All right.
We'll do 2 here on that. Modify. So
like
we'll see.
Okay.
I think if we break that London high again, we'll head right to that 23K. So
yeah, I'll be with you on that trade if we can get some good volume coming in. What I would
coming into the
probably
weekly
prefer,
open as well, so that's another area to watch. That acted as resistance in the pre-market from about 950 to about 140 overnight. So that was a very strong level there at 970.
Okay, great.
That weekly open's probably the midpoint of before we went on the here. I'll just zoom out real quick to the daily. This is probably the middle of the entire week. Yeah, it is. So this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? We're right in the middle of these are the lows, these are the highs. So that 23K is, I don't think we're going to get a big move today. I think we're going to close somewhere around 23K, give or take 100 points, which is crazy to say, 100 points. But hey, that's nothing, right? So I think that's probably where we'll end. Where do you guys think? Do you guys think it'll where we'll end up today? I mean, now obviously wherever it goes, but do you guys have a prediction where we'll close today, or you agree somewhere around in this range?
Honestly, before I would make a prediction on where we close, I'd need to know how many times is Trump going to tweet or speak today or send out a letter.
That was going to be my next thing. That next little point. Given that there's no
right now, he's hammering Powell right now apparently. So. He says he's doing a terrible job, so it's going to be what it's going to be.
Do you have any particular thoughts on that, Brett?
What'd you say?
Do you have any particular thoughts on that, like with the Trump Powell debacle?
I don't know. He's like he flip flops with that guy, man. Sometimes he's like, oh, he can
With a
stay,
lot of
and then he's
things.
like, oh, he needs to get fired. I don't know. I don't know. They just did he just signed the bill, which is more, pretty much more inflation to come, somewhat, so can't really cut rates.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't followed the data numbers coming out in a while for maybe a month or two. The end of the summer is typically big time to like kind of look at exactly where it's like a little bit because data's delayed, right? So the first 6 months, you're not going to know the effects of like that 5th and 6th month fully for another 30 to 60 days, right? So getting to the end of the summer gives you kind of that full half-year picture of where the economy was at, because again, it's delayed and you get it all a little bit later. So I don't know when the next when did we have was CPI this week or last week?
It was last week.
Let me pull it up here.
I think it was last week, right? But I think the next one is going to be very important to see. All that he's been saying, and someone just said in the chat, I was about to say that, is we need to wait for more data, right? So, I think he's like, he might also just be delaying to see what Trump does with these tariffs, right? Because it's kind of back and forth with it too, and that's a major thing. So, you don't want to do a cut. You don't want to, obviously not going to do a raise, but like, he doesn't want to change anything up until he knows like what the US is going to be doing going forward with other countries and internationally, right? With these deals.
Yeah.
So next week,
I'm
guys.
on Powell's side for the most part, to be honest.
Next week, we have core inflation on Tuesday, PPI on Wednesday, retail sales on Thursday, permits, housing starts, Michigan's consumer sentiment on Friday. Oh, and by the way, we head into the beginning of earnings season. Next week is going to be insane.
Nice. Wait. Who's next week?
Oh, we got some people on.
Yeah, I think. Well, let me check the earnings stuff here. Monday, July 14th.
We're gonna do a giveaway. By the way, I'm here, right? Like,
we're waiting for it. The crowd is here.
Waiting for me to say it. Who wants a giveaway, chat? Come on, I'm here, so we gotta do the big boy stuff today.
I'm surprised they haven't been asking for it in the chat.
Listen, I respect it. You guys haven't asked for some giveaways, so we're gonna start it up. I think we started off big. We just go straight with a 150K straight to funded, man.
Straight to funded.
150K straight to funded.
That's worth a few $100 right there.
We'll do. I know you guys do the first and last place, so why don't we do here? It'll be funny. We'll do the right. Is that what you guys are doing lately?
We have been, yeah.
Yeah. So like, we'll do the first place that, and then the last place 150K advanced. So it's like,
all right.
Two different ends of the stick, but still 150K counts. Did you find those earnings, Matt?
I'm looking right now. I'm pulling up earnings whisper.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to find the calendar for the month.
I'm looking for a potential long here, guys. Stop would be about 10 points to the downside. So I'm looking for a long. I'm just letting you guys know because I want my entry a little bit closer to like 950. And then my stop would be, sitting around like 35, 40 area.
Don't have
Oh, my bad.
So it's the end of next week is sort of the earnings kind of start rolling in. So it'll be the following week you get like the financials, airlines, stuff like that. So, so we're going to go into the probably Fed meeting week with the big boys reporting. That could be fun. That could be fun.
Where's the Drew on the oh, I see. I'm trying to edit this to my position if I take one too. Anyway, yeah, why don't we run a giveaway? Chat, yeah. While we wait for this here, and then Miriam, let us know if you end up pulling the trigger there. I don't know if you are here.
I'm kind of looking at it. I'm still waiting.
I will tell you, I'm setting a buy stop at 971. Two minis for a run up to 23,000.
So you're right with me. I'm 970. Oh, that's a nice candle, Miriam.
Yeah, I did not get my entry on that. This
is like the I don't know how do you play hammer candles at all?
I don't, but I do look at the price action in that. So I don't call it a hammer, but it is a hammer. Oh God, yeah, this is where I did not pull the trigger on that, but that's very sad to look at. But we could still reject. I mean, to your point, Matt, I think if we get that push up to the 70s, see, this is what I don't want to see. This here right here, I just don't like. I don't like that. The 75 area is going to be key. It's going to be, we have it on Bookmaps. Obviously, it's the end of that supply zone as well. So might be a better entry to wait for that to get that confirmation, because if we just continue rejecting here and not making the move, then it's It's not the best, but let me see if I can get an entry here to the upside. I want a little bit more. I want like 950. I'm going to set an order at 950. Okay, I have my order set at 950. If I get triggered on this, then great. And then I'm going to set a stop at like 9. I'm going to set it at 937. I'll take like.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm still going to just leave mine so that we're all just not in the same. I mean, Matt and I are kind of going to be taking the same one, but I think as long as this flag holds here, it might just go chop in between these 40s, 50s. But yeah, I still want to see that breakout of 970.
I just got filled on that for one mini here. Oh my God, I'm on micros again. My goodness.
That's the worst. You know, sometimes you just gotta yeah.
I don't even know why I have micros on here for what I'm trading, but yeah, all right. Well,
Hey,
I got filled.
listen, you know what you got to do, right? Leave that micro. You got to leave it.
I'm leaving it at this point. I'm not getting rid of it, but just to show you guys what I
got to go one micro, one mini now. Oh wow! Oh wow!
Yep,
You're
that would
upset.
have been.
Oh, you
I just
are
got
upset.
filled there.
Oh man, Miriam.
I am.
So that P&L. So we're looking at you're up 40. That would be 400.
That would have been $400. Yep. I'll just move this to break even. You know what, guys? It's all good.
Oh man, that's funny. I didn't get filled yet. Mine was at 73.
I got filled.
We're all getting filled at different stuff right now.
Mhm.
That's
Anyway,
funny.
let's do the giveaway real quick. I'll at least get the keyword in. The keyword, guys, is Powell. Powell.
Ooh, actually, I don't know if I like that. Hold on.
So we'll wait for this. See how we can play out here, and then we'll switch to that giveaway once everybody's in.
So I got stopped out of my little one micro. I made what did I make on that? I don't even know. I think I made like $3.
Hey,
I'll take it. I'll take it.
That's a burger at McDonald's. I don't know if you can afford the drink now with it.
Yeah. I
Remember when
could
the dollar menu really
dollar
used to be
menu,
under
yeah.
$1? It was like 88 cents, 89 cents.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
And slowly the tax.
Yeah, we did reject that.
It got to like the 120, and then you're like, $1, and now the dollar menu is like the $2 menu.
Oh no. All right, let me see if I could try this one more time.
Where is the? I don't know if I'm Drew. I'm gonna spotlight you real quick. Show me where the edit is for the one you did with Anna Wing on Figma.
I like where ES is too, or we're kind of starting to view up. I just don't like the double top that we're potentially putting in here.
Saw Tank dropping some heat the other day again.
Man,
yesterday?
every time.
He was on yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We've had over 2 hours of Tank this week. It's been wonderful.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
2 hours of Tank. We're gonna have to get another coach, and he's gonna have to be called like F1 or what's the plane? Shit, F35, right? Like we got a Tank, we got an F35. Like we're gonna have to have the whole entire brigade over here.
Yep. All right, I put a buy entry here at 53. I just got filled for that for one mini. I'm gonna set my stop actually pretty tight on this because I don't want it getting below this candle. So a 40, about a 10-point stop on this candle. So let's see if we get the move back up.
You're cropped a bit, so click on above on the bottom left. Just click symbol where it says MNQ all the way on the bottom left. Just click symbol.
Symbol.
Should click it again.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
There you go. All right, you're good now.
All right, let's see.
All right, let's run the giveaway real quick, and hopefully it doesn't go crazy. But if it does, hey, we come back to some games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, hopefully.
Run it up. I don't know. Am I doing it right? Did we? Yeah. All right, everybody's in, right? Whenever you want, throw it on up, Drew. When we come back, Miriam will be up 500. Matt and I will be in some gains here to the upside.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll get that. If we break this, I don't see a world where we don't hit that. I mean, of course,
Above 75.
I don't see a world. I like
that
the
23K magnet should hit. You know, I don't really think that we'll see another pullback.
Oh man. Had to say it out loud, didn't
Flash.
Yeah.
I was feeling really good about that trade until that. No,
That's Flashtastic Adventure. Holy shit! Look, they got the octopus in here and everything.
What?
All right, guys, 150K straight to funded. Let's get it.
These are always fun.
We need some water park music. This reminds me. This one makes me think of Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
You ever play that game?
I love
It
that
sounds
game.
familiar.
I love
It was
that
like,
one.
oh, Miriam, it's the one where you build your own theme park and you like construct you would construct like you could literally make the entire track of like a roller coaster and stuff.
That's actually
One
pretty
of those,
sick.
like, it's one of those like Sim City type things, right? You have to like manage it,
Yeah.
set the prices for like ice cream and burgers and the entry price. And in
You
the
could
park.
build roller coasters to just send people flying halfway across your park.
Yeah, chat. Who played Roller Coaster Tycoon? Come on, that might have to be the next keyword later.
Well, don't say that. Now you're giving it away.
Throw a number in there. Forget it. That's not the keyword now. All right.
Oh, that's great.
Can't even see how many people that's crazy. Oh, that blue slide was hacking. Everybody on that purple slide got. Oh, there's a lot of people here.
That sucks.
We're attempting that breakout here. There it is.
There we go. I just got filled. So we're all in.
Yeah.
All right, let's ride.
Listen, you know what they say. In order to be ballin', you got to be all in.
How many of those sayings do you just have? Like,
I got a lot. Although that's one of my favorite ones because it's literally like the perfect thing. It's like the word ballin' is be all in. It's like how much better. Like it's probably the best line there is.
What's your stop set at?
I'm probably keep this one not wide, but probably watch like I'm gonna be watching like 9:53-ish. I don't have it set right now.
All right, looks like we got our winners here. So we're doing
first and last. Oh, we do 10th. What is that? Is that what we do, or what do we do?
Well, how many are we giving away?
So we're gonna do one. So Rajan Adhikari, you got a 150K straight to funded, and then last place, we're not gonna see it because the screen's covering it, but just type it in the back there, Drew. Let us know who it is. Ishan, looks like. Ishan B. Swaz. I think it was you. So 150K advanced. Mayo. Who is it? His name's Mayo.
Mayo?
Oh, that person got disqualified, Kishan. It says DN that did not qualify.
Yeah.
The name is Mayo. All right, so Mayo, congrats.
Ooh. Guys,
know
type your name in the chat.
Yeah, type something in the chat, guys. Did we already get?
There's a little pulse there, guys. Just got a little upward pulse.
Nice. Good
85
move, guys.
next area on deck with some orders.
What are you up on that, Mary? What'd you get filled at?
I got 53.25.
See if I can edit these things. We don't have background Nick here, man. So I'm gonna try.
I'm
gonna try to do a little bit of.
You let him off his chain, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Now I think we have a nice clear shot to 23,000. I would say like 22,922, 992. Geez, I am dyslexic. 22,922, 22,992. Girl. Needs to hold. But we do have some resistance here at 87 and then 23,000, of course. I'll show you guys my book maps just so you can see what I'm looking at. Drew, if you don't mind switching to my charts here.
You can't talk like that if you ain't never been to a Cracker Barrel.
Well, we got KFC. Does that count?
No, absolutely. That's blasphemy.
Oh, man. So I did move my stop to a little above break even, like 56, about 3 points in the profits here. But I do expect us pushing back up to this. We want to clear 87 here. We got some sellers sitting here. You could see this little thick orange line here, which we are starting to get these green bubbles filling these orders in. So I do expect if we clear this area, we're going to have a run up closer to 23,000. And then if we clear 23,000, you can see there's a thick wall sitting there. But if we can clear that area, then I think we have a clear shot to 23,012. And then let's see, we got, actually, we don't have any
Hey, we're
orders
making that
here.
move now. Let's go.
All right. Are you taking your are you the type to like just set a take profit, Brett, and leave it there, or?
Yeah, usually I'm gonna so I'm in 2 right now. I'm gonna take one off at 94, and then I'll let the other one ride probably.
Nice.
Let me see
right.
here.
I'm gonna move my stop to
One
67.
order. Go to the DOM here. So yeah, what I say, 94. Yeah, I'm gonna put one sell at 94, and then I'm gonna let the other one ride. So we'll see what happens. Currently up 420, blaze it. So let's see what happens.
Nice.
I don't know where my Drew, if you can find my face, throw up this one.
ES also approaching this 300 level, or trying to clear it at least. This supply zone starts at 301.75. So if we start to get a rejection here, then it could pull NASDAQ down. I do have my stop sitting at 67.25. So if we get below that, then I will get stopped out on this trade.
Putting my stop at 60. That's right below the +1 standard dev band.
Nice.
Hey Sean, I feel bad, man. We'll give you a 150K advance also. All right, how about that?
Oh,
yeah, it's like
Brett feeling extra generous today.
I feel bad. I called him out. Did we get everyone's? I gotta make sure because I know Nick's on. Mayo, type something. Mayo, hello. Fun fact: I love mayonnaise. Take that as don't.
Do you really?
Yeah, no, it's probably not the best thing to say on stream, but
the memes make themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Not the best thing to say. Do another giveaway here soon, guys, but we got to hit this. We got to hit my TP at least. I got to take a little trim first, man. It can't be tickling it up there. We want to see this 23K. We're all in together here. So come on.
I know.
We need to start playing that High School Musical. We're all in this together.
We're all in this together.
Oh man, thank fuck that was after my time.
I was about to say you got.
You don't know.
Well, that was like when what was that when Frozen came out, and like I heard this, what was it, the Let It Go? I'm like, oh, okay, it's a Disney song. It is what it is. Don't like it, don't hate it. But like everybody I knew with kids that are, from like 5 to 15 is like, no, we fucking hate that song, and if we ever hear it again, we're gonna strangle somebody.
Yikes. Oh man.
Let's see.
Having trouble getting through this 85.
Yeah.
I will say, Miriam, the Bookmap, it's kind of reminding me as I've gotten reaccustomed to it in the last few days. It is, even just for market nerds like us, though, it's fun to just watch the battles happening on there.
Totally.
You don't necessarily have a stake, or you don't have an opinion of that given moment. It can be a little more stressful when you're in a trade, but like just to see it, there's areas, it's amazing where some of these battles happen at like, 2872.5, right?
Right.
It's all these little sort of micro areas that we just don't pay that much attention to, that when you can actually physically see the orders listed there, it's very fascinating.
Right. I agree. It is fun to watch for sure, even if you're not like looking to take a trade. But yeah, it is also really, it's honestly one of the most satisfying things when you see, like, for example, like this 23, I'm going to go back to my charts here, this 23,000 area. Like once we'll get to, eventually I would expect us to get to this point, and you'll start to see like the volume bubbles really, really growing and starting to work. And it's honestly super satisfying to watch, like, especially when we get a big order that just like slices through it, and it's just like, boom, it just like completely goes above it, and it's super satisfying, especially if you're in a long, like right now. Yeah, it's nice to see it happen. But yeah, so we'll see what we do when we get to this point, if we get to this point. We're still holding here, this 80, the 75 zone. I still have my stop sitting at 67.25. So it's about, let's see, let's go back to my Tradeify account here.
This is the markets. Anything can happen. But if we get another pulse above 85, I would be stunned if we at least don't get 223K, if not above it.
Yeah, I agree. Do we get our positions updated on here? Is that?
I'm trying. I'm struggling.
You're doing everything.
Drew's having a meltdown in the background too.
Yeah, I knew how to do it before. Hold on.
If anything, days like today make us appreciate when we have the full team here. Everything is running smoothly.
You are not lying about that.
Got background Nick handling things in the background. You got our Nick not, jumping off planes, but whatever.
What am I even long at? 970. All right, here we go. Let's see. Here we go. I'm doing it all.
We got it. We got it.
973.50. All right, now we should be good. Here we go. Let's see.
There we go. There's
Getting
our
some
pulse.
buying coming in here. Market pulse.
I'm gonna be able to update it right when we hit the TP. That's
right.
Then I gotta fucking update it again.
Oh man.
Oh man. Let's see. All right, here we go. All right, Drew. There we go. Oh no, that's not it. Wait, shit. Again.
All right, we got.
Oh, you guys are both in 2 contracts. Here we go.
We had
Nice.
listen, Miriam. We're not up $9,000 fucking dollars like you, all right? So we gotta try something here.
I've been doing micros, and I think Brett found the nicest way possible to say "fuck your micros." And
Yeah, you gotta up the ante here.
says those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up.
Approaching this
All right.
23,000 area. Let's see if we get the buyers. You guys want to watch my book maps?
I got the trim.
Yeah.
So now I gotta edit this again. Great. Whatever. I'm not even gonna do it. All right. I'm in 1 now instead of 2 whenever we put that up there.
I'm moving my stop.
Oh, we
to
got it up.
70.
So I'm Nick M, but I just changed it to house. But
I moved stop to break slightly above break even +1. So if it retraces 20 handles from here, I'm not too worried about that. I'll take the break even.
nice.
We got to get up there though. I mean, if we get to 96 and don't touch 23K.
Can you guys show Drew, can you show my book maps real quick?
Yeah, come on, Drew. Pause the other 80 things you're doing.
Yeah, like this is more important.
Can you zoom out here? I'm curious what it looks like a little bit. So like, what is this like?
Zoom out or zoom in?
Like zoom out and like, can I see more bubbles? Is that what they're called?
You want to compress the time. Use your mouse wheel.
It just like mouse wheel out. Oh, you can't see more. Oh, you can. Yeah. So what is this? Like every
So these
5
are big
seconds?
volume buys coming in here. The bigger the bubble, the bigger the order.
Yeah. But do you zoom out to see like what it looks like compared to before? Like
Not really.
Oh.
I really just look at like I don't
current.
like zooming out too much. I like to zoom in more and
Yeah.
really see like where the orders are coming in, because right now we're getting this nice sell volume coming in, but not like I have market pulse also. You guys can't see that, but I do see like the aggressive selling and aggressive buying coming in. So even if we see like big bubbles like this, it's not indication of like, oh my God, big order coming in, we're about to go down. Like no, it's not like that. So you got to use your discretion when you're looking at these, but you can see obviously this 23,000 area is a key area of resistance. If we can get a nice volume candle coming in through here and really push us through, then obviously we'll get a nice move to the upside. But I would expect right now, if we do get a pullback, I really want to see this 84 level hold and then get a nice push up through this 23,000. If we can get up to above 23,000, we have some room.
Yeah.
I got this zoomed out a little, Drew. If you want to pull this up, you can see the heavy liquidity up there at 23,000. That's been on the board for a long time. And I said this earlier this week. When you see this much liquidity stacking at a key level for a long period of time, it is heavily favors clearing that liquidity. That's not 100%. Nothing is in the markets, but I would be shocked if we don't go clear this at some point. Now, maybe we don't have the buyers right now. So maybe they need to bring it back 10, 15, 20 handles before they make another run at it. But when you see this high level of liquidity on Bookmap for this long, I mean, these orders basically have been in before the New York session. There it is. All right, there's the touch. I did get filled there.
I got my stop at I don't know if you still have that stop. Mine's at 981.75. So I'll probably trail it even higher if we break like 23 10 or something, but I think we're going to move up. But to your point about typically they do break that level. If you look at the DOM, usually too, I don't know if it shows it here on mine.
Well, that's what Bookmap kind of is. It's just the DOM visualized. Yeah.
Yeah. So like right now on the DOM, there's 36 contracts sitting at 2302, 2302.75. There's 42 contracts. To be honest, once it gets close to there, they either drop that wall, because remember, it's just placed orders, right, that we're seeing. Yeah. They might just drop that wall to scare people who are short and like thinking, oh, it's not going to break there, and then just flip long, right? Because they're not actually in that position. So
what, Drew, you want to take me off screen real bit quick so I can get my P&L for everybody? But
oh, Miriam, let's go.
Yeah, she's killing it. Is it? Yeah, there we go.
I was honestly thinking about adding, but I didn't want to be a little greedy pig, so I'm just gonna keep my one mini on here.
1,053.48. So
let's fucking go.
Yeah, let's
do it. Let's go.
That, guys, I mean, I love those setups where you get that last 25 points before 1,000 level on the NQ. They're beautiful. They really are, especially when you got liquidity up there. But Brett, you were talking about the pulling the. But Brett, somebody putting in an order without the intention of getting filled is spoofing. That's illegal. Nobody would ever do that, would they? In this business, come on.
Nah.
I put my stop up here now at 92. I might run it here. I'm happy with what we got so far. I'm gonna have to drop here in a little bit soon too, but see what happens here. I'd still like to see the break. What are our targets? What are our upper targets? Let's see.
I keep trailing my stop, but my next target would be 23,013. That's going to be a key area from yesterday. And then on Bookmaps, we also have some orders sitting there as well.
30. So. 30 is like the biggest level. It's yesterday's close. I mean, right before that news, it's like 23,033, looks like. Somewhere above 30s, 35s right here. Yeah. So that'll probably, I'd be surprised if we broke the highs today. Like I said, I want to close. I don't mind whatever anything does at this point because I'm already in. Sure, go to the, break fucking all-time highs for all I care now. We're long, right? But I think we will close. I'm not going to be here for the end of the day, but I think we will close somewhere around this 23K again, give or take 100 points. I don't see us breaking out to the highs above 23.1, but we'll see. But hey, we got a beautiful trade, guys.
Yeah, great job, team.
What I say, to be balling, all of us had to be all in together. Come on.
Clean. Yeah, I moved my stop to 86 here, so I'll probably lose about $200 on this move if we get the pullback here. But I'm happy with my day. I'm happy.
And no matter how high the markets are going, Nick is higher. So
this is true. Yeah, this is true. That's great.
Although he's done one of those little biplanes. I don't think those can go that high. And somebody said he was going to the stratosphere. I'm like, I think he's gonna have trouble breathing up there. But
yeah, just a little bit. All right, getting some selling coming in here. That 23,010 area is going to be a key now to break to the upside. Let's see if we hold this.
I just accidentally I don't know what I did. Canceled my stop, but I'm going to take my stop here for another point or two lower. So, all right, well, that was pretty good. I don't know. Let's see what I got on that. Cash.
Ooh, just got stopped out on that trade. All right. Made about 600 on that trade, so far up 10,100. I keep forgetting that I took that trade in the
hit the 5-figure mark. That's all we wanted, right? I mean, if you include this, it depends how you include it, right? Yesterday, technically, overall, you crushed it. What was it, 20? Or
20,000 on that.
Yeah, 20, yeah.
Cool. Well, hunted my stop and now we're holding, but yeah, I think right now what we would be looking for, obviously these levels, 23,000 really needs to hold here. And we're getting that rejection so far of 23,000. So if we can't find acceptance above that, then potentially we move back down. But I don't know. It seems like these dips keep getting bought up. So we'll see what we get here.
Well, and you'll notice on Bookmap, we're not seeing liquidity layering in underneath on those moves. That is something I'm even whether you're in a trade, not in a trade, you see, like we just saw, a kind of a rejection of that 23,000 level and moving down for it to really get down, and so that we're not talking about profit taking. We're talking about people coming in with a short bias. You need to see that liquidity layering in underneath, and as of yet, we're not seeing that.
Right.
Switching to my Trade of 8 to show everybody. Just logged myself out on TradingView, so that's what that was. If anybody. All right, privacy, boom, boom, good. Share this tab.
So while you're getting that all set up, Brett, we've heard from a couple people, but we want to hear from you. The New York meetup, how did all that go?
Oh, it was great. It was a great time. Honestly, but the problem was I did these interviews. You'll see them coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
I got stuck in this room for like an hour and 15 minutes. I thought I was gonna do I was literally in there like half the entire event. I didn't even, but it was awesome. I got to talk and meet like a lot of our traders and people, but I was supposed to only do a few, and it turned into like 25 2-minute interviews. Mm-hmm. So 2-3 minutes. So I was just banging them out, and everyone got to we had a spin wheel and stuff, but it was awesome hearing everybody's stories and, just getting to know everybody. We had like Jake Break Trades there. We had Tanya there. We had Alpine Trader. We had Joey Morgan was there. Amos was there. Tons of OGs that I know from the past who've been part of like Simba stocks and other stuff with me. So it was a good time. It was a great time. I'm really happy everybody turned out there, and we all I think everybody had a cool experience just getting to see all the Tradeify team, but also just to meet other traders, right? Because there's a lot of people like obviously in your inner circle that but it's one thing to it's hard to connect with people just randomly sometimes in like Discord and stuff like that. Like obviously that's what the trading community has around Twitter, but when you actually meet someone face to face, you get that different type of connection, right? So I hope some people made some longer lasting relationships there, and they'll be able to talk about maybe they met someone there that they trade with for years now, right? So I think that's the point as well.
Yeah. No,
I miss all those big events, like post-COVID, like the Money Show doesn't do the events that they do. Various companies I've been with in the past. That's we love that, because again, we're sitting behind computers and screens most of the time. The social aspect, at least in-person social aspect, is really lacking, right? And so many places button those up after COVID and never went back to them. So yeah, it's really cool to do things like that. And like you said, just actually shake somebody's hand that you've been seeing as a Discord username for a couple of years.
100%.
So yeah, looking forward to being part of those in the future.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do more of them. We want to go depending on where we're at. This one happened to line up. We had our quarterly meeting, to make the roadmap and plans for the next 6 to 12 months. And we were just like, hey, we don't have anything planned for the first night we're there. So literally the first night, that was the event. So it was a good time. It was Monday night, so I'm glad a lot of people showed up too.
Yeah, it's a work night.
Yeah, it's a work night.
Well, the next one has to be in LA. So.
LA, yeah. I was waiting to hear it. I didn't hear it yet.
We have to do it when you're here, but
we have to dial it back sometimes. We can't, you gotta. It loses its meaning.
Well, it doesn't when you do it.
I'm doing the graphic here. Remember, I'm wearing the hat today.
Okay,
so
okay.
What did we finish at? So Miriam, you're plus 10 what?
10,117.
All right, and Matt, where'd you close there? What'd you say?
1,053.
1,053. All right. I got 1190 because I had a little trade last night also. So
go.
All right. I thought I made more on that one last night. Maybe I didn't. No, I'm just trying to compare to Miriam.
And it wasn't 9K,
It wasn't 9K.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, let me put this in here, and then let's do another giveaway. How about we do we'll do 200K growth accounts.
Ooh,
how about that?
Okay. Nice little pushy push here. Getting nice
Gotta
volume.
probably, let's see, what's my schedule? We got another half hour, so probably head out around 11, a little bit after 11, couple minutes. So, all right, let's do first one. All right, keyword. What are we thinking? Ariam, you want to pick one? Oh, I know which one I was gonna do. So I'll save it for the last one. I'll let you do this one. What do we got?
I do it? Okay. Shoot. The keyword is gonna be. Oh wait, do I need to give it to
Wait,
Brett
you gotta tell. Yeah, you gotta
Drew?
tell him first. Shit. I almost just messed it up. I know I was a part of the.
I was like, wait, hold on.
Through more in depth before, but I forgot all the structure of how you gotta announce stuff here.
Yeah. Don't be coming in trying to like, cause chaos here.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
We got a nice smooth running machine here. So
where's oil at? Let's see. CL.
okay.
Was it CLQ? Do I not have oil on this account? What the hell?
I got to pull it up on Sierra.
Oh, I don't think I enabled TME group on the house account. It's funny. I only have NQES. That's funny. Crap, I got to do that. We're only NQ junkies, so
Yeah.
goes to prove it.
We don't look at other things.
Don't look at other things. Yeah,
There's other instruments, really?
other instruments. There's cattle.
It's definitely not LA, guys. So stop typing LA. That is not the
LA.
keyword.
It's not the
LA.
keyword.
LA.
All right, if you guys type LA again, you're disqualified. All right.
Ooh.
Yeah, you heard me. I'll give you 10 seconds to stop. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3.
Shoe.
All right, shoe. Yeah, it's not shoe. It's not shoe either.
Yeah, you guys spelled it wrong. It's LA. All right, no more, guys. That is not the keyword. Not the keyword.
Not the keyword. That the keyword should be not the keyword. It's not it either.
It's gonna be something that it's not gonna be a. Well, I'll go ahead and say it. Okay, so the keyword is wingman for our boy Nick. That's not here with us today. Okay, wingman, one word. There you go, DJ Trader. First one. Oh, all right, here we go. Damn. Wingman.
We got our 23K magnet and then we pulled back. I mean, we're still, we're only 10 points off it, but.
Yeah.
Let's see, we getting any selling pressure?
Nothing that I see. We're just trying to hold this 85-90 zone.
Was this ever a short for you? Like below, I mean, I'm honestly probably done for the day, but like,
Yeah.
85 level maybe back down to like the 50s or something like that, or even lower.
I would be watching 80 for a close, like, because potentially we could come down to test like 76, like 80, 76 area. I wouldn't look to short unless we got back down probably below like 70, because then we got a clear shot to like 38, 40 area, so that would be a good risk to reward
by the open candles.
Yeah, so that's what I would be looking for, because really we could hold this 9 EMA sitting at 76, but we did get a nice tail, rejection tail here at the last candle. So yeah,
I'm just answering a quick question in the chat. Ranch with the wings, not blue cheese.
Oh, I have hotter the wings and the colder the blue cheese is what I always go for.
I do love me some blue cheese. Yeah, see, right now we are trying to hold. We're really trying to hold this 80 area.
Let's run it up whenever you want, Drew.
And we could just get to an area where after the big news yesterday, people just find, the market finds an equilibrium, and absent other news, we don't get strong pulls away from that area. 22,900 and 23,000 have just been magnets for days now. So if we just settle into one of those areas and people are just waiting, I'm watching the news feed. There's really not nothing's really jumping out. It is interesting. You're seeing a lot of insider selling in some of the big tech names. Amazon, NVIDIA, what was the other one? Just, just little nibbles of, little nibbles for Bezos is a couple $100 million over the last week or two. It's interesting. It's worth noting if we start to pull back a little bit.
NVIDIA had a really nice run up from the open. What's Tesla doing? It's still going.
Amazon had a bad Prime Day, or they said that it was, and then it just barely dropped like 1.8, and then now they're pushing back up. Amazon's still not decent way, but a little ways off of all-time highs. Everything else, I think, Meta hit all-time highs. Netflix did recently. I'll just go down the list I got here. Google's a ways off all-time highs. Apple's a ways off all-time highs. So Microsoft is actually the best out of ever. They've just been every week after week gone up. Pretty insane. I didn't even notice this. This is Microsoft. Like, there's no pullback, right? NVIDIA too. It's mostly NVIDIA and Microsoft, actually. You look at everyone else in here, right? Tesla chop. Meta, yeah, they had a big pop, but, a couple inside weeks here. Amazon, again, move up, but hasn't broken the highs. Apple's actually probably the biggest lagger of them all. Apple and Tesla. You look at the moves that all the other Mag 7 did, right? Massive moves up. Apple's probably the worst of them all.
Yeah, Apple's my worst performing in my long term.
Well, it's
almost like it. Oh, go ahead.
It was such an innovator for such a long time, and they're just not anymore.
Literally what I was about to say.
Yeah,
people made a shitload of money on it, right? But it's almost that name that like doesn't have anything going for it in innovation anymore. Like, you got to have something groundbreaking new, like a totally new product line type thing, right?
Well, they tried that with
AirPods.
that stupid headset, and that thing flopped. So
yeah, that was bad. But anyway, you could run up the giveaway, Drew. But yeah, the crazy thing, I think, like wasn't there like, was it AirPods that account for like a large amount of sales, or was it the iPad? There's something else
like that. And there's more of an emphasis on services too, on Apple TV and on the various subscription services.
I still think Apple TV has the best shows, but the worst marketing.
It absolutely does.
Best shows, worst marketing, right? Because like nobody even knows to get Apple TV, so I don't know why they don't like push it harder. But anyway, let's run it up. What do we got here? What is this like?
What is this?
This is a shower head.
Is it Satan's butthole, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, no, not again.
Yeah, Satan's rectum, or Satan's anus is what it was when we had that. You guys can stop typing wingman. We're starting the guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming, Brett, you're caught up on Severance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because Miriam's just getting near the end of the first season. So
she's just getting severed.
No, the second season.
Oh, you're in the second season.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were in the first season. Oh.
No, I'm in the second one.
The new one that was out is the second, right?
Second season, yeah.
Okay, second. Okay. Yeah, it was good.
I don't know how many episodes there are, but
the morning show is another really good one on there.
I will say Apple has been coming out with some good ones. Yeah, there's some good
Silo.
ones.
I love the book. I read the first Silo book. I keep meaning to get into the show.
Show's great. I've finished that too. Yeah. I saw Mission Impossible, the new one. I don't know if you guys saw it. Did you see
No, not yet.
I haven't seen any.
How was it?
It's the last. Yeah, it's great. It was great. It's the last one. But one at some point, Mr. Milchick's in it.
No way.
Like, it's just so funny because like that's all I know him as.
Mm-hmm.
He is such a proper guy.
I've seen interviews with him, and he's so far removed from that character. It's like it just shows it's a good range and a good actor.
Yeah, he really is.
All right. Do we have some winners already?
T. Looks like T period is the winner here for what was it? What are we giving away?
150K growth and last place too. So we'll see who on that.
All right.
So Brett, we are waiting eagerly on this show for the first person that's won an account to get a payout from it. Now, we understand a few people have made funded, maybe even one or two a little close to a payout, but like we want that by the end of the summer.
We might have to double it.
Okay.
That might be a goal here.
Yeah.
You want an account. Now maybe we'll start it now. All right. If you want an account on here, you got that account with us. That specific account will double the first payout. There we go.
Okay. Oh
Ooh.
man.
Not the whole thing. Not like, you know, if you won one account and you took 5 accounts payout, we're not doubling 5 accounts payout, but that one account, you know, we'll double it, right? So
Dang.
3K payout with 6. How about that?
Wow.
You heard it here, y'all. You heard it here.
Everybody's like, all right, give me an account. Let me get at it. Let me
now
let me
everyone wants to give
add.
away 50 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting the move down here.
I in a potential short here, guys. Just want to let you know. But we are holding this 9 EMA, which is why I'm going to wait. But looking at this a little closer to the 970s to short if we get down there.
Yeah. Looking like potential.
We're still holding, like, I mean, if you go to my charts here real quick, I don't know where we are with the giveaway, but you know, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for on the charts. We got this hold right here on this 9 EMA, and I'm expecting us to hold this area. If we can't, if bulls are just, you know, flailing around here, you know, we got this confluence here, rejection of this 23,000, 23,010 area, and then now we would get a reversal. A reversal for me would look for below 970, below this area right here. So I'd be taking, I'd be looking to take this as a short. My stop would have to be 980 for this, so about 10 points, about 15 points, nothing crazy. But I would look for us to get down to the 950s, potentially to the 940s. So let's see. All right, we are starting to get this move down. I'm gonna have an order set at 960, 975.
For a short?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But we are holding, we're still holding. Actually holding really well. These bulls are coming in. Ooh, actually looking at book maps, we got some orders stacked here on the lows.
Right now, the highest volume of the day since 8, if I'm just taking into account 8:30, is VPOC's at 984. 985. 984.75. So
Yeah.
as long as we stay below there, it looks pretty good. But this turns into a 5-minute hammer up close above that. I might throw one back in the fray here.
All right.
The upside again. But I think as long as we're below that, probably pull back to 930.
No, I'm with you. I think if we continue holding this 9 EMA here, I think we still want some more room to the upside at least. But so far, a little bit leaning more bearish. But the only reason I am is also because of this candle right here. You know, some rejection here at the 23,000, and then we got a nice move to the upside, but then a rejection below it. And then where we did close this candle below 23,000, which is why for me, I'm like, I don't know. We'd have to hold this 70 area for us to continue higher, which we're trying to right now. So let's see.
You know, this afternoon is going to be one of those we either get like a 200-point move or we just lock down within a 20 or 30-point range. It's just nobody wants to take bigger positions
right
the weekend.
I agree.
Watching the chat, if anyone has any, I know you guys probably asking questions before. I wasn't looking a little bit while we were trading. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll rapid fire FAQ if you guys want. AMA.
I might actually consider taking a entry here potentially. It'd be a little bit of a less confirmed trade, but it would be also holding this trend line.
SR flip, we are still looking to have Project X, just waiting. You know, the biggest thing, I will say, the big thing of Project X, you know, there's a lot of news around it and different stuff, but you know, we're a massive firm. We'd be the biggest one that onboards there by far since Top Step. So, you know, we just want to make sure everything's all right there because, I don't know, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. Let's do a meetup in Delaware. Yeah, maybe when the daily stream's coming back. I don't have time for that, man. This is. I wish.
This
Honestly,
is the daily stream.
Yeah.
I wish, but yeah, tune in here. We're gonna have we got these three Nick's in the sky right now. But you know, we got Matt, Miriam, Nick all the time. Background Nick, Drew crushing it in the back. We're gonna have a lot more recurrent guests and eventually stretch, longer in the future. But I'll come in here when I can. I remember I always get like a random like on one of these reels that I did, and I came with like a bear suit, like literally like wearing a bear suit, like a red hammer, and I'm like, it's so fun.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, it was a good time doing this stream. But hey, if I'm doing the stream, I can't be building the business. So do you guys want a better Tradeify, or do you want me on the stream? And actually, just don't answer that. I don't know where you're gonna go.
Keep it to yourself. Yeah.
They just want you to just give up unimportant things like sleep and time with your loved ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just won't spend time with my almost 2-year-old at all. Right, just for you guys.
Is he about to the age he's going to start running in behind you on when you're doing meetings? And,
he already does it. Like my door's right there. He'll just come and all of a sudden you'll hear like a random bang. Like the only reason he's not right now, my wife is definitely distracted. But like he comes in here at least once or twice a day. He's like, bo, da, 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 da. Like he loves, so he obviously not really allowed in here and to touch my computer, but he sees me here all the time. Anytime he can, if the door's open, he'll run in here on the keyboard and like grab the mouse. Like he just wants, I'm like, you trying to go to work?
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Yeah, don't be in a hurry to do that, son. Just enjoy being a kid for a while.
I just got filled on that. 69.75 was my entry here. So I'm gonna set my stop to 78. I'm only in one. I'm in one mini. So I'm looking for a move down to 50.
What was it?
69.75. 69.75 is my entry to the short. I'm gonna move my stop here, just trailing my stop here. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at.
I'm quick with it now. I got it done already.
Quick with it.
I'm quick with it. Hold on. Throwing it
in.
In.
Let's see. All right, getting the move down, trailing my stop very tightly here.
Oh yeah, Miriam. Let's go.
My stop. Probably gonna get stopped out on this. Yep, just
that's got it.
All right. Well, we didn't get to update it quick enough. I tried. All right, you just had to raise that stop, didn't you?
I just had to. I could have just taken my entry here at 50. Look where we bought.
That's all good. Take it, right? This is how do you approach, like when you have a massive day like this, right? You're almost more inclined to just like take those quick wins, right? Like rather than like risk some profits sometimes, right? Especially
sometimes, I know. I thought about going in 2. I wasn't super convinced on this trade, honestly, but honestly, if we get back down below VWAP, I'm risking. I'm gonna go hard on this one. I think
there's that strong level at 30, right? So I'm gonna actually I'll watch 30. Again, probably got like 10 more minutes here, but if we get a reaction at 30, I'll set up a trade with.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching this area too. Like if we get down below 30, I'll put on some size on this one for sure.
So Brett, I'm assuming based on what you said with your son, you're in the habit of making sure you're not logged in any trading platforms when you watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was a time I lost a lot.
Oh no.
We don't talk about that time. Yeah. We don't talk about it. Anyway, I said I would do Q&A. I did like one question. All right, let me see. When are we playing games after crushing a Q? I don't even have time. Sometimes I get like 30 minutes to game. Let's see. Actually, can you extend the current promo? I mean, you still got 4 days. It's one account, 50%. So, 35% has been recurring discount that we've had for a few months now. I'm not sure what we're doing exactly. I think we're going to decide tomorrow. Not going to say it's going to be there. Not going to say it's not going to be there, but we'll see. Let's see. Can I have a free reset? No. Sorry. I won an account last week but never received it. Any update? You can submit a ticket, but they should have been sent out to your email, but submit a ticket if not. Hey,
We have
Amir,
a big
appreciate that.
spreadsheet, so it should be on the spreadsheet.
Bear costume shorting. Yep. How is Rhythmic? Yeah, well, I think we're gonna do Rhythmic. I think we were first we weren't gonna do, excuse me, Rhythmic, but I think we might. I don't know. There was a lot of problems with Rhythmic. They were resetting for a while, but I haven't heard of a lot of issues over there in a while.
I use Rhythmic every day. It's been very smooth for quite some time.
Yeah, so I think we might get Rhythmic. I got a call with one of the I think like the CEO over there wants to get on a call, so we have to schedule that. But
so I assume, based on what you said with Rhythmic and what's already available, it does seem important to the leadership team here that traders do have a choice. Would that be an accurate statement?
yes.
Hmm.
We just need to vet every choice, right?
Agreed. Yeah. Oh, agreed. But there's, I've always, in this, obviously recent events, etc. But I've always felt like, traders use different tools, right? They have different programs or this that they like. I've always appreciated places that give you a choice. They may not have every single thing you're looking for, but being able to, because I'll always tell people, find a platform that you love that's maybe independent of a firm, and then you have that platform, right? Sure, it's great. Like TradingView can interface with a lot of different things, but I've always, traders are. I mean, just on this show, you have three traders here every day that trade completely different. You come in here and trade different than us, so that for traders to have choice, I've always felt is a very positive thing.
100%. I mean, I think having, the choice of what platform you want to go on to is important, and not like limiting people. I understand like a lot of the sentiment out there though, too. There's both sides to the story, kind of, but
kind of.
I feel like you really want to say a couple of things.
Yeah,
I just would rather not. Yeah, I was just like, that's why I just like looked at a message I had real quick, and I'm like, I'm gonna say something if I don't.
Well, I'll say I think choice is better.
No, 100%, 100%. Choice is better for sure, and like that's what we're gonna have as well. But yeah, there definitely should have been a different approach, at least. A phased approach, rather than I don't know, 30 days or whatever it is, 2 weeks. Are you gonna get Quant Tower for Tradeify? I think that comes with one of the brokers that we're gonna have, like the inclusion of that. Because blah, 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 blah. Reset the journal each time the account has been reset. Yeah, I think that's a bug we have. We're gonna try to fix that. Because basically, when we reset an account, actually that'll be changed with the new update. Pretty sure. So you should see that by the end of the month actually fixed. Do you see the role of technology and AI evolving in the world of prop trading? Well, we have an AI support bot. That's great. There's people who have, I don't know if we've told this story on live, but there's people who have a 1 hour conversation with the chat bot. It's like their best friend.
Wow.
We literally had someone do an hour and 5 minutes chat back and forth, like consistent with the bot asking stuff. So it's pretty funny. But I think there'll be a lot of streamlined approaches to risk management, support, and like overall analytics. You'll see a lot of AI being put into our trade journal over the next 6 months as well. You can ask it, what was the best part of my day? What could I do to improve? And it'll give you, some pointers and analytics based on what you traded that day or that week, whatever you ask it. And then we want to include some type of AI eventually, like pop-ups. So like eventually we want to have similar to some
Took another short, by the way.
out there.
Sorry to interrupt. I took another short here. Really tight stop on this. I risked 3 minis. I don't want this getting back above 73. So the reason I took this short is because we did approach the 2-minute 9 EMA. I'm actually going to move it to 70. Oh, I'm going to get stopped out. I'm going to move. Okay. I just got stopped out on that. I meant to move it to 75.
4.5 point stop.
I needed to move it to 75, but really what I was looking for was a rejection of this. I kind of want to re-enter this. Honestly, I feel like I didn't get.
her bookmap, her personal market maker's like, yeah, finally got her.
Yeah, I wanted
Oh,
this.
they top ticked you.
Yep, fucking assholes.
Got you right there. Well, we'll be watching if you enter. You got yours up. But anyway, to shit, what was I saying now?
You were talking about AI and the journal.
Oh yeah. So we want to have eventually like you know, the chart and your platform like within our website also. And that way we can kind of overlay it also with different things. So if you're close to passing a challenge, you know, we can let you know, hey, you're close to passing your challenge here, or hey, you're getting close to your DLL, or hey, you're getting, you know, little alerts, stuff like that. So that's something we want to include and have monitoring at all times. I wouldn't say that's AI technically, but that's technology. So, you know, we want to build out the best type of platform that we can with tools for everybody to take advantage of their strengths and improve on their weaknesses.
Is there room in the budget to get tank shirts that button up all the way, or is it?
I don't think so. I think we couldn't afford more than a couple buttons.
Yeah. All right.
Oh
yeah.
man, that's too
But
bad.
no, in all seriousness, though, I know one thing you and I have had conversations on in the past is the importance of supporting your live traders, and Tank is obviously a big part of that. Any other things in the future coming down the pipe with that?
Yeah, we have a big bonus live structure plan we're coming out with soon. So like when you hit a certain amount of profit, you get a bonus. There's going to be trips. There's going to be potential salaries.
Oh,
I think that's the first time I've said that.
Okay.
Breaking news here on Tradeify TV.
Yeah, breaking news. We're still building it out, right? Because it has to make sense. You know, that there has to be some type of mutual benefit for everyone. And to be honest, like even when I think at traditional prop, right, you only get 30% of the profit. Of course, you're trading millions, you know what I mean, of someone else's capital or multiple people's capital pooled together, right? And then, you know, your firm keeps 70 because they obviously have to pay their investors and then take a little cut. So they're not even really keeping 70. That's just how it works, right? But, or sometimes it's 80-20, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the opposite with this in retail prop firms like us, you know, 80-20 in favor of the trader, right? So, or 90-10. So, you know, that doesn't give much room for the firm to be able to give the users, you know, additional benefits and different things. So it's hard to structure a bonus plan or a live structure without a clear set of guidelines and really running the numbers and saying, all right, you know, how can we also, if the trader's doing this well, what can we do to also make sure that we're, you know, making enough or monetizing it as well? Is that going to be copy trading? Is that going to be leveraging data of the trades and different things? Is it going to be having them come on and help other traders in our program, you know, by maybe educating them as well, because we have vetted them and see that they're performing well, right? And then how can we reward our traders for giving us, you know, one of those three services or different things, right? So it's a lot of people just like to look at it like, oh, give us the trader, give us more money. It's a business, right? At the end of the day, like everyone, again, I don't want to say everybody's lucky, but we should feel lucky that there are companies like us, you know, and retail prop firms out there that allow everybody to leverage their money and come in with a smaller amount of capital and not risk, you know, their savings and everything, right? Take a stab at it, get a payout, multiple accounts, compound. So,
well, all that aside, the thing for me that is I kind of wandered into this world a couple years ago and had been trading my own account for several years before that, is that like the barrier to entry is non-existent now, which is so fantastic for retail traders. I remember when I got my futures account, like I'm filling out like 30 pages of paperwork and I'm wire transferring money in here. I had to get a brokerage that worked with a data feed, that worked with a platform, that worked with an you know, and now somebody can go
work
like
with that.
Yeah, you had a sale the other day, like on here where it was like a $30 growth account for $30. You're in. Right, you have a data feed, you have a platform, and all you got to do is prove you can trade at that point to get access to capital. So that's been the biggest takeaway for me in the retail prop industry, has been the barriers are gone to entry. It's $100 now, if that.
Yeah, and I don't want to say like great trade so far. By the way, Miriam, I think As soon as we loop up, there we go.
Almost there.
I was about to say, as soon as we lose
Oh,
that
look
60,
at it.
oh no.
I'm gonna move.
You know,
I'm gonna move this.
That's the worst.
That is actually, this has happened to me so many times where it just like will
You're gonna get
flirt with my stop. My stop is only one contract, so I'm gonna actually.
I see it. Oh
annoying.
no. Yeah, you gotta like scale them there. I see where you're gonna get it right here. There we go. Okay. Beautiful, Miriam. Love it. Love it. This could really flush if you break this 50 level too.
Yep.
Definitely got to ride one of them to 30 for sure.
That's
anyway, yeah, to your point, I don't want to say like, hey, go into debt, but it's awesome that you can use a credit card or, you know, to be able to purchase a challenge too, right? You don't have to come out of pocket. Again, I don't want to phrase this the wrong way or anything, but I think everybody understands what I'm trying to get across, right? You don't have to go into your, you know, bank account to make a purchase. You don't have to do, like Matt said, transfer something, wait 2-3 days for that to hit, AC or 7 for ACH, right? And you're able to get access and get going in literally seconds to minutes, right? So it's awesome. It's really a cool thing that I think that the retail prop space has been able to provide. And I'm very excited to see the growth over the next few years and what it turns into. A lot of competition coming in the space, a lot of players. So the game will evolve. People have to adapt, and Tradeify's always been at the forefront of adaptation and evolving. So we'll continue to do so.
Amazing.
Beautiful dump. What are you looking for here? You have 2 still, right? So what would be your targets?
I want Bookmaps. I'm looking at Bookmaps. This 50 keeps holding. I'm going to actually move one of my stops closer to this 9 EMA level, but I want 30. I do want 30. You know what? No, I'm actually looking for 40-ish area. But right now we are holding this 50, which I don't like. I want a clear flush because I think if we get a nice flush below 50, we'll get 40 and a potentially 30 area. So I'm just, you know, I'm in profits on this, no big deal, but I'm willing to, obviously you guys know I'm in profits already from earlier today. So if this stops me out, I'm not too mad about it, but I do want this nice flush. If I go to Bookmaps right here, you guys can very much see bulls and bears are fighting at, you know, between the 60s and the 50s. So I have
break 50. I think VWAP's on deck very quickly.
Yeah. I think if we get back above 60, that's why I have my stop sitting at 63. Because if we get a nice flush above or push above 60, we'll hit 63. We'll hit my stop. We're clearing these orders sitting at 50, trying to at least. So let's see what we get here. But you guys can see this is kind of what I'm looking at when I'm looking at Bookmaps. I'm looking for these orders to clear. Once we get a nice flush, we'll get a nice, you know, move hopefully down to this 40 area. And then that's when I would be pretty much trailing my stop very, very tightly here.
This is where you look for that 1 minute to just be a 10-point boom, like any second now, right? Something like that.
They're gonna run some stops here very quickly. It's got that feel to it.
Yeah. Either direction, right? There could be a big buyer, but it does look short. I agree with you here. I think we're going to get to that 30 range, which is what we've been saying.
Yeah, so I'll be looking for this. I don't want them to get back above 60, so that's why I'm holding my stop here.
You know, Brett, you were talking about the hour conversations with the AI bot, and I know that's cool. I'm just thinking, like, I want to know what kind of edible that was, because that I want one of those.
That's hilarious, dude.
That's funny.
For real. Hey, I just want to shout out, like, what other stream is like consistently making money? I mean, you know, we have a little bit of ups and downs here, but overall, there hasn't been a big drawdown at all on anyone's accounts. Everyone's been just crushing it. I mean, Miriam, massive day today, right? But hey, I don't know any other trading stream, or here, let me put it like this, firm streams that are doing it.
So got stopped out on one of them. I still have one. Got stopped out at that 6, right at that tick. Look at that. 67.
They said, "Oh, there's your stop."
Yep. They're like, "We'll take that."
They're like, "Got another one. Let's take this one."
Oh man.
Well, you know, Brett, we also have the added advantage against. I'm not naming anything else. That we're not boring to shit. So that's, you know,
yeah,
there you go for us too.
Hey, someone just said that other prop streams kind of boring.
That's funny.
Well, hey, guys, like
we got some cool stuff. Like, you know what? Let me ask everybody here. Would you guys like? Let's say we stretch. You know, right now we're at 4 hours. Let's say we went to like 5, 6. Like, would you guys like a live DJ? You know, we're still talk over them and you know show the chart. But you know, imagine my camera was like a DJ hammered down, looking at him spin and playing some tracks and like have some fun. Like, you know, do you guys like that idea I've had? There's a little bit of you know, maybe towards that lunch hour when everybody's kind of in the you know, waiting kind of period, right? Something like that I think is fun. Yeah, only on one day, not every day. So Fridays, something like that, right? We also want to do like head-to-head battles with traders. We're also thinking of doing a chat account. So you guys vote on, you know, what we take, what trade we take for the day at a certain level. Mark out 2 different trades we want to take, maybe something like that. You know, we're coming up. We have a bunch of ideas, right? That's like 4 out of maybe 15 that we. So.
All right, just stepped out on that trade. Just stepped out on that trade. Up now. I think that was a 600. So 10,600 on that. So it's $500 for that trade there.
Nice.
I tried, guys. I tried. These they're just chopping around here. I think a better entry, honestly, if we get down below this 30, I will look to potentially re-enter this, but they're just kind of chopping everyone around. They're really trying to hold this 50 area. So I just don't want to, you know, risk going into this. So we'll see. And ES is kind of flirting with VWAP here as well. So let's see if we can get the move down, but they took my stops.
Let's run another giveaway. I'm gonna post it.
Oh my goodness!
Last one, and then I gotta head out. Of course, the code has to be that. I'll tell you guys the code in a second.
Nice.
We will. What should we do here? Let's see. Let's do a 50K straight to funded. And if you come in last place, you get 100K straight to funded.
Ooh, that's
fun. This one pays to be last.
Yep.
In addition, each winner will receive an hour-long hair care tutorial from me and an hour-long fashion tutorial from Coach Tank. So I mean, there's just so much going on there.
Bring your ascots.
No curl tutorial.
No what now?
Curl tutorial.
I know. What about? Yeah. I feel very left out of this.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're getting
breakdown now.
Now we're getting it. Yeah.
I'm just saying, Mary, you weren't killing it this bad with the straight hair.
Thank you.
I'm gonna watch this level here at the 50% retracement is 32.
To potentially bounce.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put one. I'm gonna do early order. I'm gonna put a entry here at 32, one contract, and then I'm gonna put one at 22. 24.
Short for me potentially. Oh, now they want to run it. That's nice.
Yeah, so we ended up hitting the levels that we said, right? We wanted that 23K, then we wanted the pullback to 930.
Oof.
All right, so I just got filled on both of those. Now my average is at 28.25. You can put up my chart if you want for a sec.
To go long?
I'm in a long.
Okay.
Yeah. 28.25 is now my average. I had one at 32 and one at 24. So sitting right at that GP. I like this pullback here. I'm gonna look for a quick bounce to the 40s hopefully here. I don't know if there was did we get any news out right there?
I'm watching the news feed like a hawk. I don't see anything right now.
Listening to possibly short this. Didn't get my entry.
Sorry if I threw you off there.
No, you're good. You're good. I want a better
down about 450 right now on this one.
This volume, there's got to be news behind this.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm still in 2 at that 28. I'm going to take one off at 40. If it gets up there, I think it will. Let me.
Yeah, I like where ES kind of bounced at too. Let's see. Man, this would have been a nice little shorty short. I guess stayed in that. It's all good.
Be back break even now in a second. There we go. And now we should see a big, I think we'll get that big push here to 40s, maybe 50s, and then it'll probably continue down, but happy with that. I took the 618 here. Typically I do wait for the, let me put on the 707. 707 was down here. So typically I will take the 707 retrace, but the only reason I took the 618 a little bit early, or actually took it a little bit above that, is this level right here. This is that that pre-market 8 a.m. So I thought we would bounce right here. We did come down just basically a little bit lower to that next range here, which was 908. But
so you just trying to play for a quick little dead cat bounce?
Yeah, quick little move. I probably this 32 entry probably should have been a 27, and then I probably should have added in the teens instead. So, you know, little
we
bit
get back up to
poor
the
execution for me there in terms of what I wanted, but I think this 40 or 50 might. I'll probably raise the next one, stop break even after if that one hits. I only got 2, so we'll see what happens here.
If we get back up to this 38, 39 zone, I will be looking for a potential short.
For where? Sorry, say it again.
38.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm thinking it hits 40. As soon as it hits 40, I'm putting the stop break even. I wouldn't even be opposed to closing the whole thing at that point.
They might try.
Yeah, so I don't want to see it break back down, so I'll probably put the stop here at 19 on this one. We got it at 919, so I'll risk 370 here, and I'll call it a day, ending at 800 or so if I hit that stop. Again, a little bit of a poorer. If I got the better execution, maybe I would have taken one off already at 32 or so, but looks like I'll get stop ran potentially. Maybe not.
What's your stop sitting at, you said?
I got it at 919. Basically the lower end of that big 5-minute candle.
Are you just asking yourself right now, what would Lil Degen do?
No, Lil Degen would be in more than 2 contracts, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I gotta head in a minute. I want to see this happen. I'll give 2 more minutes. I was supposed to leave 10 minutes ago, but all right. Let's see, 2 more minutes here. Let's get a stop me or TP me. Come on.
That is the attitude sometimes, isn't it? Where you just like, you don't even give a shit if the trade
out.
stops out. You just want it out, you know?
Yeah, you wish you could hit like a fast forward button, right? To see like when you hit that trade. But then, all right, but don't actually take time out of my day. Just take it out of the chart.
Yeah.
Fast forward time only on the chart.
Yeah.
It's like the replay function in real life.
Yeah.
The fast forward function.
All right, let's see.
Oh, forgot the giveaway. Yeah, sorry. We can run the giveaway. Let's do the giveaway. Yeah. The code. The code's ballin'. You gotta be all in, guys. Code is ballin'.
BALLIN. All in.
All right, forgot the giveaway.
Tisk. People are waiting.
No G, just ballin'. Because you want to be ballin', you gotta be all in. Not financial advice.
Waiting for this retest to 33 here. Not giving me my entry.
Brett, you got to talk to Vinny. We want Vinny back on the show sometime.
I'm messaging him right now about something. Yeah, I'll let him know right now.
All right, got my entry here, but my stop's at 43, so I'm making this tight. Making it like 45 just to be safe.
Still not seeing any news. There was just some sell programs that got hit there, and now the buy programs are taking it back up, and we'll see where equilibrium is here.
Oh,
all right, I just got that trim filled. So I'm going to raise this stop to 929, and let's let this thing ride. I mean, there's a world where this goes to 970.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're getting your buying coming in. I'm getting stopped out here.
We got like 4 fire trades this stream. Right?
Yeah,
What do we get? 3 or 4 fire trades, guys. All right, let's no more balling. Let's talk for the last couple minutes. gonna raise the stop now to 934.50.
Nice.
Well, no more, guys. If you type, you're out. Type, you're out. We crushed it. Wow, let's go.
Good job on that.
A lot of green on the screen.
I might join
A
you.
lot of green on the screen. I love that. I love that. Long one from 924. I forgot to update it.
Ooh,
Nice.
Got some room to the upside too.
Here we go. I'm gonna raise this stop now to 43.50. I'm gonna raise it to
Nice.
46.50. We are up on this one here. I'll put it up top here.
Clean trade.
5 on this one contract. Yeah, let me do it like this.
So with all this money making in the house account today, I do think we can afford to buy a tank of shirt that has buttons attached to
I
it.
don't know about
Yeah,
it.
maybe.
We'll buy him buttons, all right?
Just buttons.
Yeah, I'm moving myself to 51.75. I'm kind of at the point where I just want to get stopped out here. Funny enough.
Finally.
We're gonna have to buy him those, just not even buttons, the fasteners, those clips.
Get him a nice clip-on tie for the top too.
Yeah.
All right, guys, giveaway's over. Let's run it up. We can put the chart here in the bottom left still.
Oh, I am not getting my entry here.
Hey, so total on the day now. I mean, I'm unrealized a little bit. I'm gonna move the stop to 55. I still just want to stop.
Cool.
I'm asking the price to drop to stop me out.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's funny. I mean, I'll hold it forever, but stops at 55. We'll see what happens. All right, run the marbles, everybody. I don't even remember what I said. Oh, 50K straight to funded for a. All right, I just got stopped there. The total on the day, house account plus 19. Lovely.
Man, I took a really bad entry on that. I was trying to get in on a long, and I pretty much top ticked it. So I'm in at 64.25, which is like right at that top there. But I'm gonna set my stop to 47. I took a pretty decent entry on that. So let's see if they stop me out. Hopefully they hold 50. I'll take a pretty decent loss on this too. Stop me out. All right, I'm down on the day. Well, not down on the day. I'm down.
Oh my God!
No. Don't worry. No. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
On the session, not on the day.
On this specific trade. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop on the day because I got down to 7,800 on that. So all good. I did risk a decent amount on those last two trades. So that's what happens though. That's what happens.
Curly D-Gen.
Yeah, I had to do it for Nick. We did reject. That was a nice rejection though. I didn't even see that of this supply zone sitting on ES. So yeah, guys, kind of a interesting market so far. We've been getting these moves and nice moves to the upside. I think we try to hold this 50 though. If we try to hold this 50, then move a shot back up.
Again, I'm not seeing any news, and this is high volume, which means at this point, it's probably the HFTs and the algos that have control, and they're just going to whip everything around for a little while until we see those big orders layering up on Bookmap again. Oh, we still got the marble race. Go ahead. Who?
Yeah, we're like owning it on trades. We're like, marbles, whatever.
Yeah.
So who won the 50K? So it's I can't read on that. Who won? My monitor one never loads right. All right, living your purpose. Type something in the chat. Congrats, you got a 50K straight zoo funded.
And then last place is the 100, and that is
Yachiru. Is that what it says?
Nice.
Yochiro_K.
Type something in the chat, guys, to claim your trust. Hey, Yachiro, there you go. Hey, you won. You got last place, man. That's in this case, that's great.
Best loser wins.
Best loser ever. So, guys, you just have to put your email in your bio. In your not your bio, in your channel on YouTube.
We had some people earlier in the week trying to change their name, and little DGen caught them. We had a couple people permanently banned from giveaways because they tried to be dishonest about it. But props to little DGen for pulling out the ban hammer.
The ban hammer.
Dun 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 dun. All right, I really did. I need to stop after this, so I'm going to be done after this trade. Took a short at 32, so if I get stopped out on
they're taking you here.
They're going to take me out. They're going to take me.
Yeah, I think you pissed off a market maker overnight.
Clearly I did. So I'm going to be down on this trade for sure if I don't get this move.
I think they're hitting you, Miriam, for I don't know if you're disrespecting the rule here, but
they're pretty pissed. They're pretty pissed.
Yeah.
We'll try it out.
All right, guys. Well, did the other person type in the chat? Who was it? Living something. Where are you? Okay. Living your purpose. We got you. All right, cool. All right, well, Miriam, go to low a day here. All right.
I would love that.
I think you got potential for it. You got potential for it. Break these 30s, and then you'll get there. But hey, thanks for having me on, everybody. I gotta go. Build Tradeify. Got to do actual
Tradeify CEO shit.
Boring stuff now.
Well, Brett, we appreciate your time and we appreciate you coming on. We look forward to whenever the next time is that we can have you on. But yeah, you got to run a company and shit. So I guess
gotta run a company. Hey, awesome trades today, guys. It was a great time. Let's definitely keep locking in. I think next week we got a big lineup of guests coming out. I think that schedule's coming out soon, so you guys will see everyone come on. And I'm pretty sure we have a big special guest next Friday. Big one, yeah. We're still on the fence, but more so leaning towards being here. So we'll see, but look out for that, guys. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. Matt, Miriam, appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
As always, and good luck the next hour here.
All right. Thanks again, Brett.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Oh boy, we have a lot to talk about for the last hour here, Miriam. I was, I messaged you. I messaged our Slack last night, our little group Slack guys, and I said right when this was going down, and Miriam hit her tray. I was like, "Well, Miriam, it's you and I tomorrow." And at that point, we had just gotten confirmation Brett was going to be on. I said I was worried we weren't going to have shit to talk about for 4 hours, but clearly that has not been the case today. Definitely not.
And it's been an interesting day. I mean, I've taken back some of my profits here, but you gotta kind of not gamble some, but you gotta risk some to make some. So here we are. Probably get stopped out on this. This will be my last trade of the day if it does stop me out. Unfortunately, it's looking like it kind of wants to take me here, which we just got that. So down on that. So anyways, well, still up for the day. That's good, but yeah, not looking too hot for these bears here. If we can't clear these levels, we need to really get down below. They really took me out, and they're starting to reverse it here. But we really need to take out this VWAP level here. And
hey, Nick survived.
Nick survived?
Yeah, he said I survived. It was epic. He's in the chat right now.
Oh, let's go.
Okay, now all the jokes I've made for the last 24 hours, I don't feel shitty about anymore. So I'm assuming there was no signal at up there, Nick. Nick, get some over the cell signal. Get your ass in here.
I know. We needed you to come in and actually stream.
Yeah, we need if you're gonna do shit like this, you need to ask Brett to get you a Starlink.
Yeah, this is not okay for you to just leave us like this and not show us that you're I don't even know how many thousands of feet above air you are.
Yeah, now he's someplace else. That's all right. So Miriam, big week for you overall, right? So as you're wrapping this up, I went, how do you make, this is one of the challenging things that I know traders go through is that when they start having some success, obviously you've had success for quite some time, but maybe tie in some of that struggles maybe you had when you first started becoming successful and scaling that to the point where you're able to take these trades without hesitation, without fear, and just follow what you're following. What was that progression like for you over the past couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it yesterday of, your evolvement. Is that a word? The way that you evolve as a trader, right? Like you start to realize like certain patterns that you have. And for me, one of those things that I really struggled with was like over trading, trying to make a certain amount in a certain, day, and setting these profit goals for myself and realizing like, there are certain things that keep you from actually moving forward. And, there's certain patterns that you need to get over in order to become profitable. And I think for me, one of those things started off with like over trading was definitely one of my biggest things. And so I one of the rules that I had used to set for myself was, I 2 losses in a row and I don't trade after that, or not even 2 losses in a row, just 2 losses period. And again, that was really something for me that helped with like just disciplining myself to not take trade after trade after trade, because I was realizing like I'm blowing accounts, I'm not staying consistent, and I'm sitting here just trying to dig myself out of a hole where, I would have just been happy with a couple $100 if I had just stuck to my rules. So those were the 2 things, like, the 2 back-to-back losses, or the 2 losses in a day and I'm done, or the not setting a profit goal for the day. And I think those things were really helpful, like in my, I guess, infancy stages. But even now, like, I mean, one of the biggest things, I still, 5 years plus into this, I still get emotional with my trades. I still, there's still things that I struggle with, not to the extent, of course, that I used to before, but even like on a day like today, I was up the 10K and now I'm down to about 7. So it's really like, or no, actually I'm like at 61.27, but I took back the majority of my losses on that. And so for me, like back in the day, I would have been like, oh my God, I have to make this money back. I have to get back to that point. And today I'm like, you know what? I'm out. Like it's a Friday. I made a good profit this week. So I'm happy with the gains that I've made. And, we're just going to come back to it the next week and, start with a fresh set of mind, fresh set of data, fresh chart, and just go at it from there. Because I think one of the things we can really like, get down on ourselves on is, overworking ourselves. This is very mentally taxing, not just like financially taxing, but very mentally draining too. I mean, there are days where I'm like only in front of the charts for, a couple hours, and I just get up and I'm like, whew, I feel like I just ran a marathon, because, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of, you're taking out mental capacity from that point. So, you have to be aware of that. That's why it's so important to do things outside of trading that, can help you reset, can help you balance your life. Also, another thing is like, you're going to have days where you're really killing it, and you're going to have, seasons where you're not. And that can also be really troubling, because you start to really question a lot of things. And I think at points where, and I've seen many traders that have been in the game for decades that really still go through this, and they have seasons of ups, and then they have seasons where they're kind of struggling. And, as a trader, you start to kind of question, like, what is it? Is it my strategy? Is it me? Is there something going on in my life? Am I emotionally charged? And that can really hurt your confidence going into trades. And at some point, you're just looking for a win. It doesn't even matter what the P&L is. You're just looking for a quick win. And so, you have to be cognizant of those sort of things, and just be aware of like what your patterns are, who you are as a trader, finding your trader identity. And, the journaling is really going to help you with that, and talk, going through every single trade and being like, all right, what was my thought process here? Why did I take this? And I'm not going to lie, there are trades that I've taken that, I've either chased into, just like you guys saw me in on this one in particular. So I'm not perfect by any means, but, when I do get those solid trades, I feel good about it. I feel confident about it. I'm not sitting there like, oh, shit, like why did I get in here? Like I got a horrible entry. I feel good about it. And so, I think sometimes, especially now that as we're streaming here, we're looking for these trades because we're in front of the screens. But for the most part, some days I don't even open the screens. Some days I don't even look at the market, because I'm like, I don't feel like trading today. But you guys see that, we show you our sentiment every single morning. We tell you what we're looking for. Hopefully, now that I have this set up, it kind of helps you guys see Bookmap, see what I'm kind of looking at from the charts. And I have like 3 different things that I look at on the screens. But yeah, I mean, I've heard some feedback from you guys. Hopefully this is helpful, that you can see the, not just what we're looking at, but we're trying to talk through what we see. And I used to do that too. Even when I traded by myself, I would verbally talk about my trade, just because it kind of helps me, analyze like what's going on, what the other side of the market is trying to do. Okay, buyers are stepping in here. Okay, it looks like the sellers look, are finding conviction here. Whatever the case may be, it can really help like walking through your trades out loud. So that's what we try to do with you guys. And again, I hope that's helpful. But yeah, I think that I did the opposite today. I skilled in after, rather than, like typically you skill in and go into a trade. The first trade that we took together, that one was probably the most A+ setup of the morning. So definitely a great trade there. When I look back at those though, I'm like, I should have gone in heavy on those, but it's all good. It's all good.
Well, it's interesting that Brett brought up what the traditional prop firms, right? The non-virtual prop firms, which I guess some have transitioned to virtual, but a lot of them are in New York, Chicago, those big tall buildings that are very close to the New York Stock Exchange or the CME. And I've always found it interesting that one of the metrics that they use, and this is something I'll be honest, I'm still evolving in my trading as well, where they will actually ding their traders for not going full weight into high probability setups, right? So if they, like we talk about A+ setups on here, if they will be required to identify what is an A+ setup to me, and they can go in 5 minis and make $5,000, but they're going to get dinged on their performance because they should have been in 10, right? It's one of those weird things, and to recognize those high level trades. And I agree with you. That was, I mean, like we said, I think, I'm not sure you could have 3 more different traders than the 3 of us that were on stream, and yet we're all recognizing what was about to happen based on a wide variety of factors. It looked good on the candlestick chart. It looked good on the Renko chart. It looked good on Bookmap. It looked good on the Dome. It was just one of those, I think I said early in that trade, I said, if we get above 75, we're going to 23K, right? I would be shocked if we didn't do it. Now, there's nothing 100%, of course, but I try to, you guys know I don't make a lot of statements like that on stream, and that one was about as A+ as it gets. So yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. And we all go through this weird range of emotions, even on a day-to-day basis. And I've shared a little bit and been upfront this week that I have no less emotions in my trading now than I did the very first day. The only difference is they do not affect my decision making, and that takes a lot of time, energy, effort. And there's people that tell me that, I don't have any emotions when I'm trading anymore. I've been doing, and good for them, and I do believe them, but that's not built into my psyche. I just don't have that. That's a huge advantage, right? I don't have that, so I have to be putting myself into better positions where the emotions don't get so up here that they start to bleed into the decision making. And by and large, I've been successful in that. But I think Miriam, I know you've talked about before, Nick's talked about this as well. Your progress in trading, even when you're 5 years into your career, 10 years into your career, it's not linear, right? I still catch myself, thankfully it's not often, but in personal trading occasionally chasing a move up or down, which is something I struggled a lot with when I first started. Progress isn't linear, but the moving average should always be pointed up.
Yeah, it's really not. I mean, and the emotional side of it, like, you see some traders that like they'll trade, 10 minis, whatever, like big sizes. And, you have to ask yourself, like, they've had to work themselves up to that point. You don't know what sort of position or what sort of risk that they're taking on that trade. You don't know what sort of account size that they're working with. Some of these traders that are making, like 5 figures, even 6 figures, they're not trading with like a small account. So you have to trade with what your own risk tolerance is and what you can mentally handle. Like, there's a reason, this kind of goes back to like the psychology of money. Like when you're looking at, these, for example, people who are getting nice buying pressure coming in here too. But when you look at, like, for example, those who win the lottery, why do you think that the first year, majority of these lottery winners are losing their whole whatever they got, we're talking millions of dollars, like hundreds of millions of dollars that these lottery winners are winning, and they completely blow it the first year because a lot of times they come from a place where they're not even used to making, a fraction of that. Sometimes they're not even making six figures a year. Now they just got this lump sum, windfall of money where, they don't even know what to do with it. So they just spend it. And then they get to a point in less than a year or 1 year where they're just completely bankrupt. And so you have to look at it from the point of view of, you're not going to be making 5 figures if you can't even make a couple $100s, right?
Yeah.
Like, what makes you think that you can get to that point? You have to show consistency in that and build yourself up to that. That's why I always say, start with a small account, guys. Start with, even taking like $500 or $1,000, right? In futures, you can open an account with less than, really technically less than like $100, but in order to fulfill the margin requirements for certain brokerages, like, you really don't need more than like $100 to trade a couple minis. So, and this is on ES, for example. So, if you can take $500 or $1,000 and build it to 5,000 or even 10,000, right? Like, you start to build that consistency, and then over time you can start to grow your position sizing as well. Don't go from trading like 3 micros to now trading 3 minis. Like, don't do that. But if you have the consistency for it and you can prove that over and over again. That was something that I did when I was trading options. I would take literally $500 and I would grow it to $1,000 or $5,000. Take the money out, start back with $500 and do it all over again. I would do that over and over and over again until I could prove to myself I can handle a small account. So definitely, not financial advice, but something to start off with to really grow your account and start to grow into positioning yourself into higher sizes. So
there we are, right back to 23K and pushing.
Yeah, we are pushing. Is there anything out in the news?
Nope. Google and Amazon volume highs. So something's going on with Google and Amazon. Yeah, but that's a good point, in managing, money and, winning lottery and getting handed $30 million is no different than getting a really high-end account. You want to spend that down, sure, but you got to protect that capital. So it's the story I remember reading. There was I believe it was a garbage man in England that won. It was a lot. It wasn't like hundreds, but it was like $15-60 million. And within 1 year, he blew it on drugs, alcohol, and companionship, shall we say.
Oh, and,
all right. and he had to go 2 years later. He had to go get his job back because he'd literally blown through every single dollar. And so, that's the kind of, that guy's gonna be on eval number 200 at some point because he can't manage that. And it goes. It's like I've said. And listen, I got to be careful how I say this because I don't want this to come off condescending or elitist or anything like that. But in general, the traders who do the best in trading are the ones who, for the most part, have their shit together outside of trading, right? That's not to say they don't have we all have issues, right? We all have, disagreements with somebody at work or, disagreements with a spouse or a kid's going through something or somebody say, like, there's stuff that happens, right? But in general, the traders that I've met over the years that have had the most success are in control and manage a lot of stuff outside of trading the same way, calm, cool, collected. I'll use the example when our basement here flooded a few months ago, and it was horrible. It was, listen, I don't want to use the T word too extensively, but there's traumatic, parts to that where you go around and you see like, and we didn't know that a lot wasn't damaged, but like 6 inches of water and just the first instant I saw it, I flashed forward like 6 months and be like, Jesus Christ, it's going to be a nightmare for the next few months, right? But thankfully I was able to, and I'll share this on the stream. I had taken just a little something to help me sleep. Like literally 20 minutes before I went downstairs, I just went down to make sure my computer was shut off. So I'm like powering through, right? And getting people over to do this. And, it was a nightmare. And I remember thinking back on that going, okay, not that I wasn't emotional, not that I wasn't pissed off at everything, everybody, probably myself most included, but when it was all said and done, it's like, all right, we're going to manage this. And now we're through it. It's, like I said, my basement is still finished from the waist up. But now we're beginning the process of putting aside money for the renovation and You know, hopefully in the next few months we can make that happen. And now we're even okay. Well, what didn't we like about it that we can change? Since as long as we're going to be ripping shit down to the studs, right? So, you know, there's people that maybe. You know, I've seen people deal with major illnesses in family members, right? Where there's so much emotion involved, but at the end of the day, you've got to be systematic and mechanical about it. Okay, where can we get the best care? What is, you know, insurance going to cover and not cover? What do we need to, you know, as much as it sucks and there's so much emotion involved, at some point, everything has to become mechanical to get to the other end of that. And trading's the same way. People that panic, it's one of the reasons, I mean, you know, we had Amos on the other day, and good for him at having such success at a young age. But in general, I mean, when I was 22, I was a fucking moron. So there's no way I would have been able to do these things because there was so much of my life I just didn't have figured out and didn't have together yet. Yeah. And so in all honesty, it's, you know, obviously you and I've had a lot of conversations with, you know, the three of us off stream and with our background team. And it's no surprise to me that, again, not that we don't have problems, we don't have issues that need to be dealt with, but it's not surprising to me that the three of us generally have our shit together and are able to respond and react to things with as little emotion and as much, you know, being as mechanical as possible, and that bleeds into trading. So if you're somebody who's really struggling with your trading, it might just be you need a couple of tweaks, you need a decent system. But maybe, again, if you're looking at the rest of your life, and again, that's why I say if you're viewing trading as some sort of life raft or life vest to get you out of other problems, it's probably not going to work out that way. And I know that may sound harsh to say, but very few people in this business that I met, everybody that has success in this business wants to have success in this business. There's very few people that have success in this business that need to have success in this business. You're coming into this, and guys, I've seen it in the chat before, thankfully not as much recently, where people are like, listen, this is my last $100 on this eval. I got to get this to a payout, right? Don't do that, guys. You know, trading is stressful enough. It's hard enough. You put enough pressure on yourself that adding that on you're going to cripple yourself emotionally, and you're just going to be chasing and making dumb mistakes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
After all that.
Right. Exactly. No, I mean, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of things that can go wrong with trading, and you just, like I said, you have to be aware. It's going to teach you a lot about yourself. You know, we talked about like the Dunning-Kruger effect. We showed that chart when Amos was on, we talked about, you know, this valley of despair that, you know, you start to get into, where when you learn about trading, you're feeling great, you're feeling confident, you're like, yeah, I can do this, especially when you see other people making money and really making it sound easy, right? It's not, spoiler alert, it's not easy at all, but you know, you start to get this sort of feeling of like, yeah, I can do this, and then you really get into it and you start to realize like, oh, there's a lot that I don't know about trading, not just about trading, but about yourself, right? Like, it's very, very rare. And I think that's really cool about what we had with Amos the other day. It's very rare to get a trader who, you know, doesn't struggle with their psychology. It's more so that they just need to get their edge down first. More so, it's like, it's usually the other way around, right? And so, you know, if you can get an edge down, after that really is going to be your psychology that you need to make sure that you have, you know, in check, essentially. So yeah, I mean, it's a long game. It's a long game. And, you know, we're going to be in it with you guys, telling you guys.
There's a phase in that, which you showed yesterday, and it's in the Dunning-Kruger graph. And actually that graph, take out the spike at the beginning, and it very much resembles I was just looking for it, and I can't find the exact graphic I used to use, the staircase to mastery, right? Where the point in trading that to a trader, everyone reaches this point. Like I said, it's the like what I call the Plato point. You realize you don't know a lot. You realize how much you don't know, right? And for some people, that is a despair point. Right, that syncs up right with that valley of despair there, and they quit. Right, but for some people, for those like us, for those that are having some success or beginning to have some success, it's a motivational tool. Right, it's like, well, shit, I really don't know anything. I better go learn. Yeah. Right, and I have said, and you hear these huge numbers tossed around. Boy, now we're getting a surge down. What the fuck is going on?
Double top. It's a double top on the NASDAQ.
Apple and Tesla are red. That's the only news coming out. But
Tesla.
anyway, just to finish the thought, and then we'll get back to the charts for the last few minutes of the show. So you get to this despair. You hear 90% of traders fail, and that's probably accurate. It's probably even higher than that. But I would argue the majority of traders that quit. I'm not saying 80, 90% of them, but I would be willing to bet the majority of traders that quit could find some success if they had a little more patience, a little more runway, and they just didn't give up. Right. Like it's like I say, you have to be the right amount of stubborn in this business, right? You can't be, you have to be, you can't be so stubborn that you quit, or, stubborn enough not to quit, excuse me. So you want to be stubborn enough not to quit, but not so stubborn you're not willing to make small and or drastic changes to your trading to get where you need to get. So. Yeah.
I think, we talked a lot about this, but there's so much that goes into it, and you just have to be aware of who you are as a person, and just go from there. But yeah, we are interesting double top that we're getting here on NASDAQ. ES did make a little bit of a higher high, but still not able to clear this 310 area. And again, we're still in this supply zone that we're not able to clear. So, at this point, we are kind of creating this trend line, flat top resistance here at this 23,012 area, same area that I was telling you guys about earlier. This was the zone that I was actually looking for us to potentially reject, which we are getting now. So I know I have this trend line here, which I can actually remove this and kind of show you guys, because this is a very nice trend line we have as well. So I know this is the 15-minute. Let's go to the 5-minute here. This is what I would be looking for here. So I would be looking for that to break, and this would actually probably align very well, not only with this 938, but VWAP if we came down and broke it. But yeah, it's an interesting price action we're getting here. I think this is definitely going to be the level that we need to break to the upside. Still some of those sellers sitting there at 23,005.
I will say, though, there's not a ton of large orders on Bookmap right now, which makes me think the big boys might be done for the day, like the big boys. And so what would explain a lot of this whipping around price action and just going back to equilibrium up at 23K could just, again, I think this has algo-like behavior, what we're seeing. This is just a theory. I'm not saying, I definitively know, but when you see lack of big orders on the order book, or like lack of stacking of big orders, sometimes it's just the HFTs and the algos are going to get control, and they're just going to whip it back and forth, which honestly is what we've seen a lot of over the course of the past hour or so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have too much conviction other than, like, if we can get back above 23,012, you guys can see on Bookmaps here, we have that clear resistance sitting at 23,015. If I zoom out here, it's really that area. I mean, 23,050 would be the next key area of resistance, but getting some selling coming in here. You guys can see next level down is
can't get it above 23K today.
Clearly. Yeah, clearly. Not lots of selling pressure coming in here. Let's see. Next level down is that 38 level, guys. If we can clear 60, 65 area, then I don't see why we can't get down to this 38.
Yeah, I saw somebody talking about they've given themselves a few years to be successful. And that's great. First of all, congrats to you for giving yourself that level of runway. But early on in your career, you can look at, month by month, quarter by quarter. And again, I think your first year of trading, if you can get to every month and say, okay, I've learned a few things this month, and specifically define them and write them down, right? And especially like quarter over quarter, if you just say, okay, I'm a better trader now than I was 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean you're consistently profitable. You may not be profitable at all. But if you're just making progress, like I said, if you've blown 10 evals in a row, and if you blow them on average at 2 days, you do need to make some changes. But for the 11th, don't assume you're going to pass, or don't go in and say, oh, I'm going to get a payout in this one. Just say, you know what? I want to keep this one for 5 days, and then the next one for 10 days. And then gradually, if you're able to control those losers and control your risk, there's no better and more valuable skill for a trader to master in their first year than managing risk and not taking big losses. If you can do that, then it's just a matter of figuring things out and scaling.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go back to my charts here so you guys can see. We're trying to hold this 9 EMA. I think if we clear this 9, clear this 65, yeah, we can come down to this area here. Oh man, what a day. What a day.
What a day, what a week.
It's been fun.
It has been. It's been fun.
Do you have any plans this weekend?
I was literally about to ask you if you and the significant other were doing anything.
I beat you to it.
Yeah. Well, tonight, let's see. What are we doing tonight? I think we're just picking up some dinner on the way home from a couple of appointments later. And then tomorrow night, I think we're going over to my fiance met a woman at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery tour that we took some friends to from out of town a couple weeks ago. She met a woman there who's about our age, and her husband is stationed at the Air Force Base here. So we've hung out with them a couple of times. So we're either meeting them for dinner or going over to their place for some probably some drinks and some card games or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
They're nice people though, so like hanging out with them. But yeah. So are you going to LA?
No, I'm not going to LA. I mean, honestly, I can't even remember the last time I went to LA. I think it was for a playoff game, actually. But those are the only times I actually go. I no hate on LA. I mean, there's a lot of fun things there. But yeah, I will probably be chilling at home. There's some things I need to catch up on. The admin, super fun stuff. But yeah, nothing too exciting. But I'm looking forward to the Backstreet Boys concert that I'll be heading to next weekend. It's on the 20th.
Okay.
So got about 9 days for that. So it'll be fun. But yeah, nothing too crazy. I try to avoid traffic as much as possible. So if I absolutely have to, I will go to LA. But most of the time I don't. I don't.
And where is that concert? Is that in LA or is that in Orange County?
It's actually in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay,
so it's going to be that big.
Oh, it's their residency, right? That's right. Yeah. Yep. My fiance's actually one of her bridesmaids is headed there, or it did head there. So I don't know.
Well, too bad your fiance isn't heading there, because then I could really meet her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. But yeah, back streets back. All right. That's what
all right. Okay, Drew, can we cut her mic, please? So, Tom, yes, I'm in the St. Louis area. For obvious reasons, I want to keep it a little less specific than, or won't go any more specific. But yes, I'm in the larger St. Louis metro area. One of these days, I'll do some trading sitting under the arch.
Under the arch.
Under the arch.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't mention anything about barbecuing and having a beer.
Oh, that's just a given, man.
That's just a typical Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's a day that ends in Y.
Oh man. Well, it feels like today really kind of flew by. I don't know about you.
It really did. Well, we had exciting market action. We had Brett on. That's always fun. And again, I think it's overall been a good positive week. I mean, your P&L obviously was incredible, but just a good positive week overall. And we definitely solidified our space in the prop stream business as being above most of the competition. Now we just got to gear up and go for number one. So we will. Don't doubt us. We will get there.
Yeah, we will.
Honestly, it's like building a trading career. There's fits and starts. There's ups and downs. But stick with it, and I promise you, there's nobody out there that has the determination to get to the top than Tradeify as a company and Tradeify TV as a stream. So. You guys see our numbers. We're growing slowly but steadily every single day. We're adding viewers and subscribers organically, which means it's people that stick around. We see the same names and different names every day. Joey Morgan, what's up, man?
What's up, Joey? We got Joey on next week as well.
Yeah, that's right, Joey. We're looking forward to having you, man.
Yep.
So
we're excited. We got a nice week set up for next week. But yeah, we got some guests going on, obviously some giveaways. So Coach Tank is now our resident Tuesday and Thursday psychology session. So yeah, we got some really cool stuff lined up for you guys, and we just got to keep growing. We got to keep growing, providing value to you guys, and hopefully you guys continue to rock with us, because we love talking to all the new guys and all the OGs out there. Yeah, and if you guys have any feedback for us, please let us know. I mean, you can get on our Twitters too. I am mostly on Instagram actually, but it's at the Curly Trader for me, and then Matt,
I'll put mine in the chat.
Put
I'm more on Twitter than Instagram, although I'm going to start firing up the Instagram next week to do some like almost kind of a video journal of some of my afternoon trading. Not going to do anything live, but I just you know, because I told you guys, you know, this has been a big transition for me. For 6.5 years, I've done the exact same things in the mornings until doing this show, and love doing the show. And you know, our team here is just fucking incredible, top to bottom. And, you know, but it's been a big adjustment. So to fill some of that gap from some of my morning trading, I'm going to do what I haven't done for years, which is trade the afternoon session. So I've been doing some visual back testing on a few things, looking at some things. So I'm going to start. I might pop a new Tradeify eval for that, and we'll and just get accustomed to it and get used to those hours. I don't know how much I'll do. I may just do an hour and a half in the afternoons, but I'm going to kind of do a video journal of that on Instagram, probably starting next week. But in the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter and see all the pictures of my grill. So that's
oh yeah, you've been
listen, if you're looking for those grill pics, I'm your guy. I'm just saying.
Only grills.
Only grills. Yeah. It's actually a griddle. I get that, one of those Blackstone
griddle.
Yeah, it's I don't really trade silver, Sigs. It's not something I've looked at for quite some time. I see Jasala says TTV been #1 from day one. Listen, in terms of the quality of content and the P&L, we are far and away #1. And I challenge somebody to, in the prop firm space, I challenge somebody to come for us on that. So I think you've learned, and we're a little bit of a reflection of our CEO. Confidence is not a problem at Tradeify.
Yeah, not at all.
Mr. Steal Your Grill. I love that, Tanner. That's awesome. That is awesome.
That's a good one. You know what? Just change your Twitter name to that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's not Matt anymore. It's that.
Steal Your Grill. I love that. Yeah. So I don't have a green egg though. I'm trying to decide. So I just wanted to get a griddle for this summer, because we're gonna have some work done in our backyard. We're either gonna rip the deck out and put a big like patio space, or redo the deck and add a patio. So I just wanted to get one thing. But yeah, there's gonna be a grill and or smoker out there at some point. So. But yeah, no, guys, this is so we've got a little bit longer with you, and if we see something, we'll take something. But I think we're probably both going to protect some profits. Any questions that you have, guys? And again, I've said this before on this show. We are slowly and steadily growing. There's going to be a time on this show we're not able to take as many questions as we can now, because we've, you know, when we're at 10,000, 30,000, 50,000 viewers, and if you think our goal is anything less than that, you got another thought coming. So the opportunity to ask questions right now. I mean, you know where I stand on a lot of issues. I'm happy to elaborate. You've seen Miriam kill it all week, so clearly she has her shit together. So I won't talk for Nick. So, you know, now that he's safe, I can make more jokes about him standing on airplane wings. I was making some dark jokes. Mary was getting. Mary was like, "Guys, you gotta be careful with that."
Seriously, I don't fuck around with that shit.
Yeah.
No, but we're happy to report that Nick is safe and well and grounded. So he will definitely be with us on Monday, unless he does some other wild shit over the weekend. But
I had said, I'll tell everyone about this now that he's back on the ground. I had said that if we didn't hear anything, or even if we did, that we'll change the stream title for Monday to R.I.P. Nick, and see what people responded to it.
Horrible. That's either going to be great for viewership or just like cancel completely.
And then we all come on with black teas to start the show.
Why do you think I wore mine today?
Yeah, there you go. But no, Nick, if you're listening on replay later, if you're still here, we love you. We miss you. Can't wait to have you back on Monday.
Yep.
You know,
and please, you know, just try to quiet down and a little bit more on these adventurous.
You know.
We need another third colleague here, so we'd like to keep you. But yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions for us, we got about another 20 or so minutes with you guys. Kicking it off. It can be trading related, it can be looking at other charts, or not trading related. I don't know, whatever you guys want.
Let's go freestyle for the last 25 minutes here on a Friday. Fuck it.
Freestyle Friday.
Freestyle Friday. That's it.
Oh man.
But that's just because little D-Gen's not here to full port Friday.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, ES does kind of look good here, not gonna lie. We got VWAP, we got the trend line. If we get this break, nice little downside. I've been talking about trading ES for the watch. We're gonna get it right now. I've been talking about trading ES for quite some time here, and I just haven't pulled the trigger. You know, part of me just kind of wants to test it out and see if we get this 96 break. Let me pull up Bookmaps real quick and see what we got here. Yeah, we got some buyers sitting at this 95, 96 area right here. So lo and behold, that's where VWAP is. So if we can get that break, you know, I think it'll be nice at least down to 90.
Xavier, I'll just say X. Use market profile. I do not. It's something I've looked into. I always like to have like a big concept thing that I'm learning in the background. And so I may get a little more into that. I'm still finishing up a couple of things that I hope to be able to bring to the stream in the coming months of things that I'm learning. High level concepts, I take at least 2 to 3 months to learn and process, and then a month or two to kind of paper trade off of before I introduce them into my regular trading, as long as things are going well. But you should always have concepts and or setups that you're testing in the background, guys, always.
Tanner.
I mean, it's a question.
It is. It's a valid question.
Before for me, Tanner, before.
I wash my brush first and then I put toothpaste on it.
Let's see. I as I said, Sigs, I don't really trade silver. I don't know if I even have it up on any of my charts. If that's something you guys want to look at regularly, I think I'd have to have that on Sierra because I have the full suite of tools on there. One trade, yeah, I did some work over there about a year and a half ago. But yeah, I'm here now.
All right, let's see. Skigs, breaking my rules. I mean, I'm not the curly trader if I don't break my rules, right? No, you know, that's another thing too. I mean, it's really important to, stick to your rules for sure. But if I see a trade, I'll take a trade. And if I'm up on the day, you know, for me, I have no problem taking another trade. So yes, for me right now, I'm not looking to take another trade, even though this does look like a really nice setup to me, breaking at this 92 or 62.95 area. But you know, it's all good. I'm happy with the profits that I made today. And I think that's another thing you got to be aware of. Like, are you just willing to sit here and trade all day, you know, and continue to put yourself in potential risk if you're up on the day? And you know what, I'm good with my profits. And you know, we had a very successful last week, so I'm chilling. I'm good.
So I got a text from just from upstairs in my house here. It says we should do Money Mondays, Tank Tuesdays, White Tea Wednesdays, Trippy Thursdays, and Fuck Off Fridays. That might have to be a thing going forward.
You know,
thanks, baby. I appreciate the input.
That's awesome. Can you explain what the house live account is? Yeah, that's just it's usually the account that Brett and our little Nikki in the background trade. So you know, if they put on a trade, we'll show it up on the house live, and it's typically both of them who trade that. So absolutely. So Slayer, hey, nice to see you. Michael, I will say I have not traded the RTY a whole bunch, but I've talked to almost every day this week on stream about how I use it in my trading to kind of influence overall bias. So I don't know if we can get let's get one more poll here, Drew, if you don't mind. I'm curious to see how people are for the week, not for the day. Green, red, or flat for the week. Nice. You know, now that Brett mentions that Mission Impossible movie, I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to go. I love going to the movies.
I lost interest after the first three. I'll be honest with you. The first one was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm a huge, like, I love, you know, like the adventure. Those are the kind of movies that I want to see in theaters, though, with, you know, the surround sound. And, you know, I'm not going to go, like, it's hard for me to, like, actually get myself to go see a movie that I can just see at home that doesn't require all those special effects. That to me, but I do love going to the movies. I feel like the movie space has changed significantly after COVID, and it's really sad. But
Yeah.
It is what it is. All
Yeah,
right.
Tanner says, do you believe in learning too many strategies too early can lead to an over trading problem? Yeah, I think it can. I think early in your career, it's very easy to get, be jack of all trades, master of none, right? And I mean, this isn't something I pursue. I'll share a little personal with you guys. This isn't something I pursued much as an adult, but I was diagnosed ADD as a kid, and I can still see some of those tendencies going on from time to time. I just choose not to pursue it or medicate it or anything like that. I just have strategies that I use to stay focused when I need to stay focused. But at the same time, yeah, I have a tendency when I'm learning things. This is one of the reasons I struggled for the first couple of years of my career. It's like, okay, this is kind of a cool thing. Let me look at this. Oh, look at this over here. Oh, that's really. Oh, look over
Finding
here.
Object syndrome.
Yeah, squirrel. Right, like that's. That was so I have to force myself to zone down on things. And one of the first things that I did in stocks was VWAP. And so that's why it's so important to me today, because I've spent years using it, learning it, trading it, et cetera, et cetera. And it's one of those concepts I love because it does not, even on days it doesn't lead to trades, it can lead to bias, or it can lead to helping me manage other trades, right? But yeah, my best advice for younger traders, maybe find 2 or 3 technical tools. And guys, you've seen us, none of us use anything, at least I have a couple behind the scenes proprietary things I look at, but what do I use? I use a lot of VWAP and basic patterns. What does Miriam use? She uses breakouts, breakdowns, moving averages. These are basic concept, guys. One of my mentors taught me early on in my career. She said, it doesn't matter what technical tools you use, but you have to use them consistently across all the things that you're doing, right? And that really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And when you start using things consistently, like you can't use an INEMA as a long signal for one setup and as short for another. You're going to just start confusing yourself. But yeah, I would learn 1 or 2 strategies early on. And guys, if you're there's a lot of strategies out there for sale and courses. And listen, everybody's so quick to trash those. And yes, most of them are bullshit, but there's some that aren't. And I'm not saying you got to go do that. Something as simple as a VWAP bounce, from the upside or the downside, and just watch nothing but that for weeks or months and try to master that. And every time price comes to VWAP, what else is going on that maybe can give you clues as to whether it's going to reject or push through? And little things like that can really, really help early on in your career. So
yeah,
trying to catch up here.
Yeah, lots of questions.
VWAP is A. Yep. Yeah, I agree.
I do like VWAP. Kind of flirting with this area here on ES. Let's see if we hold it. This is going to be key. It's going to be key. Looking on the 1 minute that it wants to break. If I look at this 1 minute, this is what I look to potentially enter a trade. Obviously, I'm not taking this. I'm not saying I'm taking this, but if I were to look at this, we have a little. This would be a Nick bear flag. Okay, if you look at this, look at that. Shout out to you, Nick. What he would probably look for is a break of this, and then enter in on the break of 295.50. But right now we are kind of smushed between the 9 and the and VWAP here, but we are rejecting the 9. So this could be a potential entry if you guys are looking to short ES. Again, I'm not taking this. I'm just saying, like, you could take this with a stop above 298. I think that's actually a really solid 3-point risk to potentially make, at least like that would be like a 1.5 to 1 potentially. You could even try to get it down to 90. But yeah, I think I think we're setting up for a potential move back down here. NASDAQ is kind of like, slowly grinding down, but ES looks like it wants to kind of go for it. So
yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of news coming across anything. No, just I do think I would not be shocked. And again, if you're asking me, am I confident enough in what I'm saying right now to put a trade on with it? No. But to me, the most likely outcome is we pull back a little bit going into the close. Again, I wonder, think about it, guys. If you're big money, are you really going to want the long exposure this weekend with all the tariff letters that came out, right? And again, guys, this is not, and every time I bring this up, I see people jumping in the chat. This is not to say tariff good, tariff bad, Trump good, Trump bad. Don't fall down that trap in your trading. But again, put yourself in the position of big money, because big money rules the markets, right? And so if you're in a situation where it's okay, there's this tariff situation, I don't care who you are, you can't deny the thing's been a mess, right? In terms of deadlines, in terms of moving deadlines, tariffs, And the markets, what do the markets not like? As we said at the top of the show, guys, uncertainty. And there is a lot of uncertainty in terms of what's coming down the pipe. Now, the August 1st deadline, new deadline, at least for now, check back in a week, is coming. And it's going to be right on the heels of an FOMC meeting. We're seeing the attacks on J Powell revved up. Again, doesn't matter if you think he's doing a good job or bad job. That's irrelevant as far as my opinion on any of this stuff, and your opinion is means less than nothing to the markets, right?
Mhm.
So don't fall into that trap. As tribal as we've become when it comes to politicians and politics, that can't bleed into your trading. Because again, I'll tell you, Mary, I've been at this since the Obama years, and I remember when Trump came in, everyone was, oh, he's going to destroy the markets. Well, new all-time highs all the time. Biden come in, oh, he's going to destroy the markets. Well, new all-time highs all the time, right? And now we're right back to it. So to inject any personal political preferences into trading, guys, I can't say it enough. Don't do it. But again, the tariffs, when there's been uncertainty with the tariffs, the markets have reacted negatively. So
I appreciate that. I saw that comment in here from Bodhi Trades. Yeah, it's interesting because like I used to struggle with confidence in my trades a lot. At this point, if I see a trade, I'm just taking it. I'm taking it, and I, sometimes I'll be wrong. Sometimes I'll be wrong, but that's another thing is like I've been in a position where like it's too many positions in my early trading where I'll look at a trade and I'm like, dang it, I should have gotten into that. It was the right setup, had all these confluences, and I just didn't pull the trigger. And you can't be scared of potentially not working for you, because there are some times where you'll have an A+ setup, you'll have a great, like everything will be in alignment, right? And the trade just doesn't work out. But you can't let those times, prevent you from pressing the button, because the times that it does happen, it'll literally like you'll be frozen and not wanting to take the trade. So it has been hard in this market, to have that sort of confidence. But a lot of times you're just gonna be like, all right, I'm going for it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I've checked this box. I've checked this box. It fits my playbook, fits my risk tolerance. And if that's the case, then take the trade. Take the trade. And then that's where the journaling comes in, guys. That's where you can look at that and be like, all right, going back on this trade, did it check box A, B, and C? And if it did, what went wrong with this trade? It just didn't work out, and that's okay, right? So that's another thing. Yeah, it's having confidence as a trader is really, really important. And it kind of goes back to saying like you're gonna have seasons where you might not be doing so great, and that does kill your confidence in a sense. It's happened to me. I know it's probably happened to you, Matt. It's happened to all of us, and you can't take those as like, oh, I'm not a good trader or I suck or whatever. No, you just got to look at it and be like, all right, I'm just having a season right now. I'll get back into it. So yeah, the bounce back, I feel like my bounce back are typically pretty strong. So if I do have a bad streak, I'm like, all right, girl, get your shit together. What is going on here? And we typically bounce back.
That's the same thing I say to myself sometimes. Girl, get your shit together.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta just be, you gotta set the foot down. I'm that type of person though, even when I used to, I'm not the kind of person that likes people being nice to me when I am like, oh, I can't get this right. Like if I'm complaining about something, like I need someone to be like, hey, stop, like get your shit together, pull yourself from your bootstraps, like focus. Like that's, I remember my powerlifting coach was just like super nice to me. She's like, it's okay. Like, if I didn't have like a good training session or something, she'd be like, all right, it's cool. And I'm like, no, you need to yell at me. I need you to just like tell me to stop being a little bee.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm that type of person. I need tough love. But yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. There you go. So, all right, guys. So to kind of sum up this week, I think we saw a lot of chaotic price action this week, but there were opportunities amidst that, right? But again, if you're somebody who is newer trading, like, Mary, you had a fantastic week, obviously, but if I'm wrong in this assumption, feel free to correct me very sternly. But that first year trading, Miriam, probably would not have done as well this week as you did. Would that be a correct statement?
Yeah, and this is definitely a hard market to trade in.
Yeah,
it's a hard market to trade in. So.
But again, guys, as I said, if you're learning to manage your risk, I know this is going to sound really weird, but on a week like this, if you're in your first 2 or 3 months of trading, fuck making money, right? That's not what this is about. It's about surviving, right? It's about keeping that account another day, and taking good trade after good trade, even if they don't work out, right? So if you're new to trading and you're learning how to manage risk, even if you don't make a dime, maybe you spend $1,000 on evals and activation fees, but at the end of all that, you've learned a lot, right? And you've learned how to manage risk. And the funded account you had, your second funded account lasted longer than your first, or your second eval lasted longer than or your fifth eval lasted longer than your first, right? Like these are the steps of progression, because it's so easy to get frustrated when you don't pass evals, when you don't make it to payout stages, et cetera, et cetera. But guys, most people fail their first eval. Most people fail their first few evals. Most people bomb out their first funded account. That's just the nature of the business and the nature of the beast. That's okay. Right. So if you're in a situation where, use those metrics, try to find that you're even if your average losing trade is less, right? Let's say your average losing trade is $600 and in the next eval it was $350, right? That's a huge step forward. Then we can work on setups and getting you where you need to be. But guys, this is again, you're trying to run a marathon right now with a big old weight attached to your leg. When the markets are how they are. All right. Some of us have the experience to navigate these. That's okay. The only way you get experience is by sitting down every day and getting getting in front of the computer. Right. Was the old saying, when somebody with money meets somebody with experience, the person with the money gets experience and the person with experience gets the money. And that's exactly what the markets are as well. Right. So, but don't be afraid. Don't quit. Don't be afraid to keep trying, but also acknowledge when changes need to be made. I've worked with a number of traders over the years, individually and in groups, and there's nothing more rewarding for me as an educator or as a trading coach when somebody just realizes they need to change, right? Like that's the light bulb moment for a lot of traders, because they'll learn a strategy which either isn't a legit strategy or they just don't have the mental equipment to trade it yet. But eventually, so they'll struggle and they're just banging their head against the wall, sometimes literally if you struggle enough. But you get to that point, that light bulb moment where it's like, oh, okay, I got to make a few changes here, right? Because again, guys, what is the textbook definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. So before we kind of say our goodbyes and begin to wrap things up here, I just want you to take that away from this week if you're somebody that's struggling. But at least according to our weekly progress report, it looks like a good chunk of our stream is green or lying. But either way, we like to see that. So
Nice.
yeah. All right. But hey, guys, Miriam, take everyone through before we, I'll say my goodbyes here in a minute and kick it to you, but take us through what we got next week on Tradeify TV.
Oh, okay. Well, we do have some guests. Unfortunately, I actually don't have the specific days. Lil Nikki is usually the one that takes that. But we do have a few guests. We have Joey Morgan coming on. We have Amos Trades. And then I believe we have another special guest, Tyler. Is it Tyler? I believe. But we will get that. We will get that up for you guys next week. But we do have some great guests. Obviously, we have Coach Tank on Tuesday and Thursday. And then let me just pull up the news real quick just so I can see what we have going on next week. We have let's see, starting off on the 13th, the 14th, which is a Monday. We don't have any news. Okay, Tuesday is the 15th. We have core CPI month over month, year over year. That's going to be coming out in the pre-market, 8:30 Eastern. That's literally when we're going to be coming on. So we're going to hit the ground running when we get that news. We have some Fed members speaking as well. We have Barkin, we got Bowman, Barr, Collins. We got all sorts of Fed members. And then on Wednesday, we also have core PPI coming out. And then got a lot going on next week. Got Thursday, we got retail sales, unemployment claims, and then Friday to kind of like tear us off with University of Michigan consumer sentiment. Typically, we do get a move on that. That's going to be at 10 Eastern. So we do got a packed week. And we have earnings. We got earnings next week too. So it's going to be an interesting week going into, starting Monday. So you guys want to ride with us?
And Brett teased it, and we got a couple of details in our meeting which we're not able to share yet, but we do potentially have a very big and very special guest coming next week. So stay tuned for that. But even without that, we've got guests pretty much all week next week. Tank will be back next week. Nick will be back next week with all his limbs, so we're very happy with that. But anyway, guys, I think it is time to wrap up what has been a fan-freaking-tastic week here at Tradeify TV. So again, thanks again for everyone. Guys, we hit 15K this week. And we're every day we add more subscribers. Every day we kick the viewer count up a notch or two. Our trading is getting better and better as we get more and more comfortable. And guys, everything is really coming together. And I'll be honest with you, Miriam, I always expected to be where we are now. I didn't expect it to happen this quickly, and that's in large part to you guys, to our viewers who are here every day, asking good questions, keeping us accountable, maybe needling us a little bit when we need it, and being supportive the rest of the time. That's what a trading community is, guys. And you guys are part of of Tradeify Nation, of our little Tradeify TV community here, and we cannot thank you enough for that. So with that, I will sign off for the week. I will kick it over to Miss 20K just about for the week, and we will send it home. So thanks everybody again. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday.
Yep. Thank you guys so much. Again, thank you for 15K subscribers. You guys are amazing. Thank you for rocking with us every single day, every single morning. We love you guys so much. We wouldn't be here without you. So we definitely appreciate that. And as always, guys, I'm going to send you off with the matcha mantra, which is make sure that you're practicing gratitude. Make sure that you are being mindful to what's around you. There's more to trading than just making money. So go tell someone you love them today. Go give someone a hug. Maybe not a stranger, someone you know. We want to see you back next week. So we love you guys. We hope you have an amazing, amazing weekend. We will see you bright and early next Monday. Go be great. We'll see you then.